go ahead and let me go ahead and slide right in, and we can start our situation off right. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News, the unreliable ones. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the newsroom and welcome to the Goutopia News Network, your unreliable source for DSP News. This is the Snort Report, brought to you by SnortBucks Coffee Company, the best beverage company ever. Don't let nobody ever tell you differently. Here we go. So, hope you guys are doing well. I going into this recording as well as the next one, I know it's going to be out late. I know it's going to be out super duper late. Just because I'm working on a bunch of other things and so on and so forth, time management and so on and so forth. But always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on is part of the brand, and I'm glad I'm staying on brand with that. But in any case, it will eventually be out, so it is what it is. It's not going to get vaulted like most projects do. Holy crap. Holy crap. There's a lot to talk about. You know things are down bad in the worst possible way when you have to essentially beg your enemies to throw up money or to give up money just so you can continue to keep going. So you can continue to survive and whatnot, sustain yourself basically, is a wild ass concept. Super wild concept. What am I talking about? DSP had a small segment, a rant, if you will, basically saying that he wants his detractors, trolls, haters, and critics to give him money to keep going. He's basically looking at this as a hand-in-glove type situation, and detractors, trolls, haters, and critics aren't doing enough by keeping his name out there. Whether it's keeping him relevant is, up to interpretation. But now he wants people to buy in on this idea and keep him going. Like this is like we're business partners in this situation, which we're not. But whatever. Let's whatever. Well, let's go ahead and dive into that deeper, right? Let's go ahead and do that. And one of the best ways of doing that is, one, if I go ahead and buy the first round of SnortBucks coffee, because why wouldn't I? But also getting into one of my favorite segments. Ladies and gentlemen, my favorite segment. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my TED Talk. So, DSP wants us to buy in. He wants us to give him money so he can be the proverbial dancing monkey. But why would we do that when detractors, trolls, haters, and critics have built a separate economy? Seeing it's an adjacent economy, I should say, to be honest. So why do we feel the need, or why is it even necessary to buy into DSP? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, to be honest with you. Big ups to Chio. It makes no sense to do so. It just seems kind of ridiculous. I get it. I get it, and he may partially get what I'm thinking. I think DSP is trying to basically say, this is you spend money to make money, basically. Now, DSP has kind of hinted at this before in the past, but it's probably only become more prevalent now because he's aligned with Kino Casino, and because he knows exactly what duty makes. That's probably the only reason why this is a thing now, especially now that he has an actual idea. He has a tangible, a tangible amount that he can point to and be like, okay, that's what they make, or that's what they potentially can make. And that's why this all comes about. The reality is, ladies and gentlemen, that whether DSP stops making content tomorrow or in 10 years, there'll always be someone to make content on him, whether for profit or for whatever. It changes nothing. On top of that, do you hear any detractors, trolls, haters, and critics talking about, DSP, you need to do something today so I can fucking make a video so I can make money off you? No, not at all. And on top of that, if he's the one with the talent, if he's the one that everybody's hanging off his coattails and we need him and this, that, and the third, then realistically, what does he care the amount of money that other people are making off of him, I should say? And why would he care for anybody to buy in? Matter of fact, I pose the argument to you that why doesn't he motivate some of his viewers, because they're already serfs anyway, let's be honest. Why doesn't he motivate them to make content on him? Make This Is How You Don't Plays. Make content that counters people like myself and whatnot. and speak and go ahead and have them speak their opinion and build up channels and go ahead and get themselves into monetization so they have even more money to go ahead and dip into helping this idiot out. Well, he don't want to do that because then that pulls them away from the pignosis and they wouldn't watch the content. In turn, they wouldn't participate in paying for it. Even though, realistically, if he had a few people to make anti-detractor content, maybe, just maybe, people would actually watch it. I would, because I'm just so I can hear what they say so I can counter that shit. You know, content farming is content farming. But I'm really surprised he won't motivate anybody to do that. Then again, if he was to do that, that would require them to actually watch Detractor content and actually see the evidence and see the proof that is, in air quotes, allegedly out of context. That might be a catch-22 type situation. Maybe that's the reason why DSP doesn't ever motivate anybody to do anything outside of his own control mechanisms, if you will. But it's funny because he wants to keep pushing this narrative to June the King and others, that they need to start making content that actually spotlights detractors, trolls, haters, and critics, but he won't send the people that are in the trenches with him or who are defending the Snort fort, who are on the front lines. He won't send any of them out to do so. Or maybe is it that he realizes that the days of having the best and brightest, for whatever that was worth, to defend him are long over with. They're gone. He literally has the bottom of the barrel, the base of what his viewership as well as fan base, if you want to call it that, that's where he's at now. And they're not the brightest. He wouldn't be sending his best if he ever had anything that he could consider his best. Maybe that's another reason why he doesn't do that. So now you have to turn around to your enemies and be like, please give me money so I can keep doing this. Well, wait a second. You're successful though. You make good money. You live a happy and healthy life and shit. People like me are the ones that are supposed to go out and get lives, get out of basements, this, that, and the third, all this lame ass shit. So why would you expect the detractor dollar to go back into your economy, go back into your ecosystem, help to basically help you in your financial, your for constant and forever financial crisis, if you will. You know what I'm saying? The Snort economy's fucking stimulus package or detractor stimulus package. Why should I contribute to that? Why should I pay into that? It doesn't make any sense. Now, this leads into another problem. This is alleged, by the way, so I won't throw anybody's names out there, but it's alleged that there are some well, honestly, they call them Detractors for a reason. Allegedly, there's some Detractors that are actually throwing money at DSP under sock accounts. This is nothing new, to be honest with you, that are helping to prop it up, and DSP realizes that. And DSP wants more of it because he looks at it as, well, hey, you guys, there's already like a subculture or subsection, if you will, of your movement or whatever the fuck you want to call this shit that already gives me money. The rest of you should just contribute a little bit too. But why would I enrich you, or why would anybody enrich you when your desperation pays off? On top of that, those who do give you money, those alleged detractors, they're funding you and it doesn't really go anywhere, and I doubt that they actually make really any profit off of what they spent on you. You know what I mean? Like, if you buy equipment to do detractor content, that's one thing, especially if you acquire it over time. Giving DSP money directly means nothing. It's literally a void, if you will. It's a black hole that's never going to be satiated. So it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't have any real value to it. It puts you at a net negative, to be honest. So none of this benefits you at all. All it does is justify DSP's claims later on that detractors, trolls, haters, and critics need me. That's why they give me money. They need me to keep going. That's all this is. It's literally just a trap. A gouty, piggy, not very well planned trap, but a trap nonetheless. That's all it is. It doesn't have any other value outside of that. So it's silly that he would think people do so. Now, with that being said, and I should put this out here just for general sake, especially for those of you who know your lore. Well, what about the concept of troll tips, Golden? Well, yes, troll tips were a thing. They were prevalent really from the I'd say from like the 2017 probably till about 2020, maybe even 2019, I guess. it wasn't, I didn't really condone it then. I don't condone it now, to be honest with you. Let me not say really, I don't really condone it. I didn't condone it then. I don't condone it now, to be honest. I'm not telling anybody what they should do or not to do. It's your money, do what you want. But that's not something I'm going to co-sign to. But I have to also admit that plenty of funny, as well as rage-filled responses and rants came out of it. So I see the value in it, but DSP didn't. That's why he banned it. You know what I'm saying? Especially on Twitch, where it was probably at its peak, to be honest with you. And he let that shit slide because he realized it was part of the content until, excuse me, it started to strike a nerve. Until it went ahead and picked at one of the very sensitive hairs on his ass. And then all of a sudden, it became a problem. Maybe if he didn't get rid of it all those years ago, maybe, just maybe, more of the troll economy or more of the troll dollar would float around the fucking Gouty economy, the Snort economy, if you will. But that's his own fault. And because DSP has this almost obnoxious, but certainly unrealistic expectations that he can get to anything, any time he wants within, you know what I'm saying, within his rational thought of when he can do something. Let's remix that. DSP will put off anything and everything because he believes he'll always have the time to go back to it. Not realizing, even after all these years and all these examples that actually prove this, time waits for nobody. And you should strike when the iron's hot. And DSP tries to do everything at the last fucking minute when it's not relevant, when it's not important, or when it becomes the industry standard. And even then, he still doesn't meet it. Nobody waits on anybody, especially in a competitive market like YouTube. And after 16 or 17 goddamn years, if he ain't realized that, he ain't never going to realize it. This is no different. When it was beneficial to him to collect the troll dollar, he did for a while, and then he couldn't get over himself. He let his ego come first before his money, before his soup bowl, his rice bowl, before his purse strings, before his liquor, before, you know, everything else. And he screwed himself. And now we're at the sad, desperate point that we're at now. But that doesn't matter because we got something to laugh at. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Let's go ahead and get to the scenario at hand because I think that's what's really more important and whatnot. Let's see if I can find this video, and let me see if I can tell you what this video is called, by the way. That'd be helpful. Is this really like a chess game type situation, or is this more like a coffee house type situation? Yeah, this is like a coffee house type situation. That's what this is. That's what this situation is. You're listening to someone who had all the opportunities that they could ever want, or really ever have, and couldn't grasp it because he couldn't understand what his situation was. Or, yet again, he thought he could always go back to it. He thought it was always going to be there, so he didn't see the urgency in taking advantage of it. You don't have to condone that bullshit. In any case, bloop. Okay, first things first, let me give us some essentials to this. Okay, so first, big ups to Raw Phil, who's bringing this to us. And then let's go ahead and give you guys a date and a title to try to coincide all this. This, ladies and gentlemen, big ups to the homie Diggs, by the way, as well. Darksydephil wants Detractors to give him money so he can keep going. This is from February 4th of 2025, our current year of failure and whatnot. It's also like the year of the snake too, I believe. So that's a thing. I think it's the year of the snake, some shit like that. So that's a thing. But it's yet again another year of gout and failure. That's all that really matters. So let's go ahead and get into that. Already gone through the title. All right, ladies and gentlemen, lock in and whatnot, and let's go ahead and get started. Here we go.
I received a $4.90 tip. Here you go. Someone has made a suggestion. You guys ready for this suggestion? So this is an anonymous $4.90 tipper, first off. Okay. So that makes it the top tip of the day.
He really just needs to go to an automated system. He really needs to. It'd be so much easier. But because he's so goddamn paranoid, and because he needs to control every little aspect of what he does, even though he doesn't do much of anything, And he doesn't want people criticizing him for being lazy, essentially, is the reason why he don't, which is a shame. Because, dude, if he did text-to-speech, that shit would be fucking hilarious. You can put filters on a text-to-speech. You can do that. But if you went to text-to-speech, it would be hilarious. It really would. And it's easy money. Set a $5 minimum. Hell, be the greedy bastard that you are, Phil. Set a $10 minimum. And let that shit be text-to-speech and watch how that money just rolls on in. Of course, there is chargebacks. Womp womp. Oh, that's another thing I should bring up as it pertains to our to the tried and true Detractor lore. There have been plenty of times where DSP has been troll tipped and got chargebacks. One of the more infamous times, well, there's two. Realistically, King Tut and or Tutmosis allegedly they did all that on a credit card. They disputed it with a credit card company. They got the money back. DSP vehemently said that didn't happen, or if it did happen, he still won anyway, or he still was able to keep the money. Yada yada yada. DSP is a pathological liar. You can't believe anything that he says. As it pertains to, but another case, which is also one of my favorites, this is 2017, Mort, who sent like, oh man, it must have been like 120, 122, something like that, something along those lines. Fucking troll tips, $2 troll tips. He sent like 120 of them over the span of like 2 months and charged all them bitches back. Each and every one of them. And Phil had to spend like a night or two just disputing them to try to keep these like $2 tips and shit. Absolutely fucking hilarious. Absolutely fucking hilarious. Oh man, for some of you guys who came later, you missed so much nonsense greatness type shit. But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's some of those little nuances that not everybody can tell you. You know what I'm saying? You just kind of had to be there for that. The lost stories, a lot of the lost stories and or lost lore, to be honest.
Here is what they're suggesting. I'm curious how everyone's going to react to this. I'm going to just read this right now. Okay, so everyone listen up. On everyone watching me on my stream on YouTube, everyone watching me on my stream on Kick, and get this is actually a message to the people who are now watching me live restreamed as well. Yes, I'm serious. This is a message to everyone from this tipper. Are you ready? Here we go. Since potentially thousands of people are currently watching you on restreams, would you consider doing a segment that says the following? You like to watch me on other channels, but since I'm creating the content that you watch and obviously you enjoy it.
You're not creating content, you just exist. And if it hasn't happened already at the time that you guys are watching this, right? The Bottom Bitch podcast, the daily therapy session, whatever you want to call it, is probably the most prevalent thing that he does outside of Smart Guys, the Grill Fill segment. Other than that, no one cares. The gameplay is trash. The marathons are trash. The DSP tries-its are absolutely fucking horrendous and shit. He has nothing really of value and he understands it. On top of the fact that his growing hatred and or resentment for games. And truth be told, the gaming community is becoming more and more prevalent. And truth be told, that DSPN segment, which I'm about to take that shit back. That's my shit. I'm going to take that shit back. He truthfully should make it as, he should turn it into a drama segment where he's just bashing the gaming community. Or bashing the gaming industry. He wants to do it anyway. And he's uninformed as fuck anyway, so ignorance is bliss. He might as well. He might as well just go ahead and do a 4-hour-long podcast where he can bash social media, he can bash pop culture, he can bash gaming and nerd culture, whatever he can try to relate himself to, and then talk his daily begging spiel and talk about Detractors and be done. That's literally 4 hours. He could, yeah, about 4 hours, give or take. And he'll make his money doing that. He most certainly will. He'll make his little $150 a day or whatever, and then just do do a night stream in the evening and go over whatever game of choice is and be done with it. It literally could be that easy. It literally could be that easy. He has nothing else to offer. He knows it. He certainly knows it. So, and it's unfortunate that, you know, some of the people who had over like a fucking 70 IQ don't really exist over there anymore, because he could have back and forth sessions with his audience or whatever the fuck and actually be able to draw the time out or stall the time even longer as it pertains to these podcasts or whatever. But he's already diluted those people out. You know what I mean? He's already burnt those people away. So now he's literally just talking to mouth droolers for the most part. Unless he lets the trolls go over there and fuck with him. But then he has to establish a way to profit off of them, if he can. Segments like this aren't going to do it. Semantics.
Consider supporting me anonymously. I understand that you can't use your real name and you can't actually use your identity because in your circles, people will probably make fun of you. But if you legitimately like watching me, even for malicious purposes of making fun of me on a restreamer, please still support my content anonymously. Now, here's the deal.
Well, here's the reality of that. I mean, it's looked down upon. As it pertains to witch hunts or whatever the fuck, I doubt that would necessarily happen unless you were just giving away thousands upon thousands of dollars. Then that might be a problem. I would say hundreds of dollars, that may be an issue. But whatever, it's your money, do what you want, man. It is what it is. But the reality is, those people would eventually get sussed out. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're writing a certain type of way on Twitter and Discord, eventually people will put two and two together. That's how do you think people figure out that some of these guys are on multiple sock accounts giving DSP money? Same concept. Sooner than later, it'll get figured out. It is what it is. And then you'll just be labeled as a detractor and you'll be thrown into the heap with the ever-growing number, apparently, that's over there currently, or whatever, and that'll be that. I don't know if that balances out in the win-loss category, but, you know, profits and losses are really up to perspective, I suppose.
I actually believe that some people do this already, okay? I would guess that a lot of these people who do these anonymous tips, or some of these people who do these tips, oh, say this disgusting name or say this stupid thing, I bet that that's those people. I wouldn't even be shocked at all to hear that it's those people, right? We get tons of anonymous contributions. We get anonymous subs, we get anonymous tips, right? All the time.
Yeah, but that's pretty stupid saying that they're either detractors or hate watchers doing it. That's not exactly a very good thing. Because if you are a genuine fan of DSP, but you don't want to put your name or anything out there, he's just throwing you into the heap with the rest of us mentally ill assholes. Seems kind of retarded, to be honest with you. Seems kind of stupid to do that. Whatever. He's the one with the business degree.
But very much so, I think those who even restream me would admit, even if you don't like me, you can admit, I don't sit here shilling crap products to my audience and try to get them to buy garbage.
So begging is better than actually giving people something tangible in hand? You know what I'm saying? Like giving them an actual product that they had to determine whether they liked or not, whether they like or not. Because let's be honest, Phil, if you could really, quote unquote, shill, you would be able to rotate stuff in your, whatever your merch shop is these days. You'd be able to actually sell merch. You would actually be able to move merch rather frequently if you could actually shill anything. You could go ahead and sell your own misery, your own patheticness, your own self-entitlement in a desperate sense. You can do that poorly, but you can do that. But you can't actually move product. You never really could. Unlike someone like an LTG, for example, who, despite what you may think of him and of his merch shop, it does sell. It does move. And you can tell that because of how often he takes things down, puts things back up, how he pretty much now has items in that shop that goes all season, or goes throughout the seasons, I should say. You know what I'm saying? You can tell he's put a lot of time and thought in it. Is it great? Not really. Not all of it anyway. Some of them are all right, but nothing in particular. But I will say he's trying, and he's been trying for a while. But what about you? You just take whatever quote-unquote slop that's given to you, throw it onto a shirt without any type of thought, give it a couple of different color shirts, and then throw it up there and expect it to move, and it doesn't work. On top of the fact that if you went ahead and, I think, begged for people to actually look at the merch shop and take it seriously as often as you do begging on a day-to-day basis, you might actually be able to sell some shit. There's a dent born damn near every day. So I wouldn't be surprised that you should be able to get at least 4 or 5 sales a day, at least 20 a week at the very least. But you're lazy, you're stupid, and you don't believe in it. And because you don't believe in it, people understand that you don't believe in it. You really have nothing to offer, and you know that. You've been bitching and complaining for years about you can't have a merch shop. There are people giving you designs all the time, and you could move things if you had a place to do it, if someone would take a chance on you. Now you have it and doing nothing with it. It's turning out to be just like what happened with Teespring. You weren't moving anything, so they shut the shop down. It wasn't all these fucking detractors, trolls, haters, and critics that had it taken down. You weren't doing anything with it. By it just existing, you thought eventually shit will happen, and it doesn't. Actually, you are proof positive of that. You just existing does not make you prominent or doesn't give people a reason to rush out to talk to you. It doesn't mean anything because you don't do anything. You haven't done anything. You got lucky. You're a fluke. You fell through the cracks. You're an anomaly and whatnot that was able to thrive. I don't even want to say that, but that might be the best example. That was able to thrive for a very, very short amount of time, and then a vaccine came out and you were recorrected and whatnot. The natural balance was put in place. That's legitimately what happened. And you still haven't figured it out yet because it requires you to do something, and you don't want to do anything. You just want to exist. And in some markets, and a lot of markets, to be honest with you, existing is not enough. If you want to just exist and be a drone, get a job. To be honest, because let's be honest, you're not going to be able to get into anything that would lead to a career. So just get a job.
Because I respect them more than that. I would much rather sit here and ask directly for contributions and crowdfunding than say, hey, buy a fucking shitty razor or buy overpriced cookies or, you know, buy this stupid jersey or do a food subscription plan.
So shilling stupid cups and mugs, shilling dumbass shirts that no one is going to sit there and wear in public unless they want to go head first into the public toilet. You're okay with doing that shit, but not all the other things that you named? Okay, I guess that makes sense. In some type of alternate universe, I suppose.
And because of that, I would hope that people understand that and would possibly come by and say, you know, even though necessarily I don't love Phil at all moments, there are times when I like his content, and certainly I like laughing at him.
Well, that doesn't mean that they like you. That really doesn't make any sense. They had to go through a median or a conduit or something that actually did a filter, if you will, that actually had to produce that laughter. That wasn't you. You know what I'm saying? People are laughing at you, Phil, not with you. This is really pathetic, I gotta tell you. And we're only literally a couple of minutes in. I just talked too damn much. But we're only a couple minutes in and the delusion's already pathetic. I'm not that I feel bad for you or anything, but this is already pretty stupid, I gotta tell you, Phil. This is pretty dumb. And we're only a few minutes in. Now you want to change the narrative like, oh, well, you know, you guys are really just laughing with me. Just admit it. You guys are laughing with me, so you guys should give me money. No, we're not doing that. But I'll go ahead and put this up there for you, Phil. They're going to carry that gun. I'll tell you that. They're going to carry that gun.
With the community. So I want that to continue. So I'm going to support it. And then they would every once in a while become a member or do an anonymous tip or give some subs on Kick, right? Yeah. But here's the thing. Do I necessarily need to go ahead and do that? Think about it. Do I really need to ask out specifically to that audience, hey, please contribute? I think those people who genuinely like the content know who they are, and they're going to come by eventually and maybe do that if they're ever going to. I don't think that my asking.
So wait, how is it that you would put that stipulation on people that you know that don't like you and are outside of your actual realm of control? But you don't have that same narrative for the people who show up and watch your slop every day and willingly will put themselves out there to be exposed. Let me remix that. How is it that the people that are outside your detractors, trolls, haters, and critics, they, if they really want to support the content to keep it going, they know all the different ways they can support you that shouldn't be said, or that should go unspoken, if you will, unsnorted. But for everybody who shows up every day there onto your own platform, they need to be badgered relentlessly to constantly support, constantly give you money, constantly do it through these different avenues and venues. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. If you're there every day, you understand how to give him money. Or you can articulate that, or you can be a vector to others on how to do so. So why do they have to get the level of abuse, I would say, that your detractors, trolls, haters, and critics don't? It's weird. It's almost like he understands that the outside can see through his bullshit. but he has to constantly keep the pignosis on everybody there, because if they break free, then it's potentially someone who won't give him money in the future, even if they're not giving money now. He still needs to give the indoctrination in the hopes that maybe one day he'll be able to break through. That's really bizarre now that I think about it. Even me saying it seems off-putting, I gotta be honest.
And do that? Think about it. Do I really need to ask out specifically to that audience, hey, please contribute? I think those people who genuinely like the content know who they are, and they're going to come by eventually and maybe do that if they're ever going to. I don't think that my asking for that is actually going to help anything. I don't think that, wow, I've had a mind-blowing idea. Phil has asked me, someone watching a restream, to contribute, and now because he did, I'm going to go contribute now. I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, that's weird, because you say that detractors, trolls, haters, and critics almost every day, send you apology letters saying that, hey, I watched this detractor for all these years and I realized that they were wrong and that you are being mistreated, or maybe I didn't give you a fair shake, this, that, and the third, and I'm really sorry, Phil. I'm going to start watching the content because it's really not so bad. So you're okay with accepting that and boasting about that, but you wouldn't feel the need to publicly come out and beg these people for money? That's strange. If there's a potential person in this alternative audience who suffers from troll remorse, why wouldn't you try to reach out to them and see if they're willing to give your content a fair shake and or maybe contribute to it? Interesting.
Here, you ready? We'll give it a shot. This message is directly to everyone watching me on a restream. I know that you probably don't love me, but you probably get some value in watching my content, whether it's ripping it apart or...
You don't think it's weird? Why do you really think the people that do watch you and who are honest and true fans love you? And if so, you don't think that as being a bit disturbing or even off-putting, that people who don't know you would actually feel that strongly about you? That doesn't seem problematic to you? Of course it don't. As long as it gets him from point A to point B, he'd be damn about the consequences, I suppose. I mean, Derek is a pretty good example. If you're willing to harbor and protect the pedophile, you're probably willing to do just about anything.
Making fun of me or whatever it is. Please understand that your support allows it to continue. Whether it's for...
But that doesn't make any sense, because you said that if that this is what you love, and no matter what happens, you'll always continue doing this until you choose to stop. So why would I want to contribute to that? And truth be told, you don't have any other prospects. You don't have any other advantages, skills, or talents in life that you can do anything else. Not to say that it takes much talent to do what you're doing now. So why would I contribute to that? What would even prompt me to feel afraid, right? Or feel a sense of urgency? Being afraid is probably a bit strong. What sense of urgency would I even need to be put into the point or be brought to actually give you money in the first place? That doesn't make any... Oh, it's so early, and I'm already bacon off his back.
Good or bad reasons, whether you actually enjoy it for good reasons or you like making fun of me.
But making fun of you is I can do that for free. You know what I'm saying? Well, there's a time investment. There's a bit of a time sink there too, I suppose. But even then, if I didn't enjoy doing it, I wouldn't do it. I'm sure that goes for everybody else. So, but yet again, you're still not giving me a reason to contribute. Like, you're not giving me a viable reason on why to do that. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Support still keeps it rolling. So please come by right now and support my content with an anonymous tip, or how about this, some subs on Kick, because we have absolutely nothing on Kick this morning. There are a bunch of bums and schlubs over there, and they're not supporting the content. So maybe you can pick up the slack for that. There you go. Okay. Now let's see what happens. Will tons of fun start rolling in this very moment? Let's find out.
I get the sarcasm, even though the delivery is terrible, to be honest with you. But the truth is, he knows that the majority of his opposition is not going to do that. Like I said, a Detractor probably will, and whatnot. But no one else with any real common sense, dignity, self-respect, you know, or any real values is going to do that, to be honest with you. You got to be a pretty big scum. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not a thing. It's legitimately just not a thing. Now, do people do it like on some trollish bullshit? Probably. I haven't seen enough proof of that yet. I've heard some names though, but no one that I wish to talk about at the moment. But even then, like the people who would give him troll donations on that level, it would kind of make sense if you knew who they were, to be honest. But actually fully funding him and his endeavors just so you can produce content, yeah, there's probably a very small margin of people who actually do that, I would guess. But truth be told, the fact that he would even give this light kind of already screams his desperation, though. I got to tell you. And that's the overall takeaway from all of this. But don't worry, it gets worse.
Okay. All right. Well, let's now move on. Like I said, so you know the schedule for the week. You know my plans for the marathon. At this point, I'll open up the chat to Q&A if you guys want to tag me and have a little bit of back and forth. Let's talk about it, shall we? Iron Kitty Claw says, what happened to Sumo Omni beanbag chairs? I don't know. What is that? Sumo Omni beanbag chairs? Is that something that relates to me? If it does, I
love how he tries so fucking hard not to acknowledge shit that goes against his own principle. Who doesn't have any principles? Against his own narrative. I love that shit. I love that shit. Because don't get me wrong, I would say that Phil's memory is sharp enough, which it is, especially when he feels like he's slighted or something that can be used against him as a negative. His mind is pretty much a steel trap on that bullshit. But when he has to try to deflect and whatnot, it's really pathetic. And it's really, really sad. You know what I'm saying? And if he is as talented as he says he is, that shouldn't be hard. That shouldn't be a thing that he should have a problem with. The problem is he's so paranoid and he's scared that people could produce evidence right away against him, that he has to give you this vagary and try to slime around it and whatnot in the hopes that if he gives you enough empty calories, I should say, you won't pursue it any further. I don't know where he got that from. I don't know what made him think a tactic like that works, because it doesn't, realistically speaking, especially if you know your shit. You're never going to let somebody make you question your own thought process. That's just not something that happens. If you know for damn sure something happened, there's not any amount of fucking deflection that's going to make you doubt that or question it. It's just not a thing, realistically.
I don't particularly remember. I'm not saying it doesn't. Wasn't there like over a decade ago? Didn't someone
see? He's so stupid. And lolcow, a lot of lolcows do this. Amberlynn Reed and Chantel do this too, where it starts off as a denial, and then slowly but surely they go ahead and actually get into the actual situation itself. But then they go ahead and try to over-explain it to try to make it seem like it wasn't the way you remembered. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's kind of like you're the one who brought it up, so you're the problem, not me. You're the problem. It's like that. It's a type of mental gymnastics that's just silly. And once you see the routine a couple of dozen times, you kind of you pick up on it.
Send me a beanbag chair and I showed it on.
Well, not that you need a couple of dozen times. I mean, once or twice and you probably get it. But you know what I mean?
Camera or something, but I don't remember how it worked.
So now he's not denying that he did it. Now he just doesn't understand, or he doesn't remember the circumstances behind it. That doesn't take any validity from it, though, Phil. But whatever. Whatever.
What happened to my neck? I heard it. And again, it's because I have a bad spine. I just do. I've had severely herniated discs in my lower spine. I keep re-injuring my upper neck up here where I get bad shooting nerve pain. And that's what happened this morning is I just moved my head in a certain way. And now I've got this painful shooting nerve pain through my neck to the right here into my shoulder blade. And, you know, I just got to wait for it to settle back and get better. And it sucks. I'm going to be in pain all day.
What a useless individual. Doesn't do anything with it's funny because he says people like me, or he says as it relates to people like me, you guys are wasting your life energy. You know what I'm saying? You're wasting this one life that you have. You know what I'm saying? that your time could be used to do something more productive. Just deflection to basically say, if you don't like him and you're not going to give him money, then don't do content at all. Don't watch any content related to him. Just get the fuck off the internet. Because he doesn't ever want you to, he never tries to motivate you to say, hey, if you don't like me, then go off and watch somebody else. He never says that. He just says, you got to stop watching everything and just leave the internet. Make of that what you will. But it's funny how he talks about how people waste their time, people aren't living good lives, this, that, and the third. And yet he has all these different ailments and issues and problems and shit, and he never does anything to fix them. He just sits there and says, I just got to deal with it until it finally goes away. What are you going to do to prevent it from coming back? Like absolute caveman shit. Like, has not a plan in the world for anything. But that makes sense. He doesn't believe in saving. He doesn't believe in investing. He doesn't believe in not only investing in himself financially, he won't invest in his health. He won't invest in his well-being as it pertains to the environment that he lives in. He won't invest in people around him. Not only just the viewership, but fucking people directly around him. His wife, his parents, none of them. None of them are worth his time or his commitment, truth be told, until he can use it as a shield for something, of course. Then he'll talk about how much of a loving husband he is and how great his family life is and all that bullshit. You know, the dutiful son and all that silly ass nonsense. But when all of that can't be used or he doesn't have a reason to use it, oh well, pity, pity, pity me. Why would you invest in someone like that who's not willing to invest in others? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Whatever.
Would I turn down a sponsorship from a company or a product you believe in and use already? No. It's for me, okay? When it comes to shilling a product or a sponsorship, right? It would only be something that I believe in. It would be a product that I actually...
But the problem is he doesn't believe in anything. So that right there in itself is a lie. Because if it wasn't, all this crap that you see that surrounds him now that's filling his space, he would actually do research on it. He didn't do that. He just went with what's popular. He doesn't understand why it's popular. He probably doesn't really even care. He just thinks, oh, everybody has this. That's what I want. I want that. And I want the highest end version of that. That's what I want. Not realizing that most of these people had experimented with multiple stuff. They had to learn how to tweak software as well as hardware to get it to a certain type of point, so on and so forth. Just because it's the industry standard doesn't mean it may be the best fit for you. You know what I mean? And for someone who doesn't mind buying multiple products that all do the same goddamn thing, you would think he would understand that. But he don't. Just, oh, does the popular people have it? I want that. And then there you go. He spends more time keeping up with the Joneses, or trying to anyway, than actually doing his own research and to find out what fits him as an individual. But the problem is he's not an individual. He's a drone. He's an NPC, and all he wants to do is copy everybody else and have what everybody else has. That's why he's a sponge. He's literally a personality sponge who just absorbs the traits of other people and tries to add it to himself, which is nothing more than a homongoloid, a fucking an amalgamation, an abomination, if you will, of just terrible traits that don't fit him. But those are those same traits that people like me use against him, but he says, that's not really me. You guys are exaggerating. This, that, and the third. Well, you adopted it. I saw you do it, so it must be part of you. If not, you have to admit that you're a poser. You have to admit you're a fraud. He won't do that because that scares him. So then what? Oh, wait.
Actually test and like for myself, and then I'll tell you guys, hey, I think it's worth it. Okay? Like, for example, I'm not exaggerating when I tell you these mugs that I got, these level 1 podcast mugs, are actually quite good. I've washed them tons of times. They haven't chipped. The design isn't coming off of the mug. I don't know what printing process.
First off, you drink flavored water out of it. I mean, hot water, mild soap, that's it. If not, most people just would rinse it out like they do with most coffee cups. Depending on the amount of coffee use that you have, you like a lot of creamer, so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? There's reasons to give it a good scrub every once in a while. Or a good washing, I should say. But outside of that, what else does that mean? To be honest, it's just a cup with some lame ass printing on it. You could go anywhere for that. You could go to your local dollar store or whatever the fuck that you have in your general area and get the exact same quality, if not better. It just has some lame ass print. It doesn't have any other instinctive value to it, to be honest. It only has the amount of value that you're willing to put on it. In the story. Something to think about.
They use, but it's a really good one. The mug is good quality. It's two-sided print. So why do you think I'm using it every stream? If I got that mug and I didn't like it, you would not see me using it every stream. I'd be like, nah, screw it. The mug sucks. And by the way, you can buy this mug at darksydephil.shop, my online merchandise store. Okay? So that's
terrible way of shilling, by the way. But yet again, that's a perfect example of how bad he is at shilling, right? Or pushing a product or whatever. He tries to hit you with some type of moral point and whatnot, and then tells you where you can go and get it to essentially support him without saying so. Instead of giving you an actual tangible reason on why you need this cup. Not why you want it, why you need it. If you've been in sales, you kind of understand how this all works. You know what I mean? If I'm presenting you something, my idea as a salesman is telling you why you need it, not why you should want it. There's a difference. If I've already gotten you this far, the want part is already carrying the day. Now I need to sell you on the idea of why you need this, how it's going to help improve your life, this, that, and the third, or make life easier for you. But he can't do that. He's not smart enough to do that. He's not charismatic enough to do that. You know what I'm saying? He looks at it as just an inanimate object that can bring him a couple of extra bucks a month. That's it. And because that's how he views it, that's how he presents it. That's why he's so terrible at sales.
That's the thing. I would only push stuff that I actually like.
Well, you don't like much of anything, so that hurts him too. But the reality is he's a pathological liar, and if he could be approached to shill something, and as long as the profit margin is high enough, he'll do it. Everybody knows that. Don't let anybody ever try to tell you that Philip Paul Burnell, DSP, Darksydephil, Dark Geppetto, is not a whore, which is basically what he is. He's a whore. You know what I'm saying? He'd sell his mama's ass if he could. Don't get it twisted. Sell his wife's ass if he could. You know what I'm saying? And eventually, if it was the last option that he had, he'd sell his own. The dude believes in nothing at all.
So, for example, what's a product that I can attest to that I've used over the years? Just looking around me right now, Gunner glasses. I can 100% attest to you.
That's bullshit. He can't attest to you shit. The only reason why first off, most of the stuff that he has, he acquired recently. So that doesn't help his cause whatsoever. The only reason why he's bringing out the Gunner glasses because he has nothing else and because he's been able to make money off of it. So his initial investment in it has benefited him in the long term. If those Gunner glasses were so damn good, why does he charge you money to put them on? Aren't those Gunner glasses supposed to be to his own benefit as it pertains to gaming? But he doesn't wear them while he's gaming unless he can get you to pay for it. So what actual value, excuse me, does it actually hold? Not only to him, but to you. It's just another part of his clown costume. His Mr. Potato outfit. You know, his Mr. Potato Head outfit, I should say. Other than that, it doesn't have any other real value to him.
That these Gunner glasses, at times, have helped my eyes during gaming sessions.
And what salesman tells you, hey, this, whatever it is, whatever imaginary item that I have in my hand, you know, at times, it's pretty good. What salesman tells you that? This item that I'm trying to sell you on is good, you know, half the time. What sense does that make? You know what I'm saying? What sense does that make? And I get it. Most of you are going to be like, well, wait. Does he really mean that, or does he mean when he uses it? You've seen him when he uses it. There are times where he'll put that, there's been times during the vestry, he would put that shit on, and 10 or 15 minutes later, oh, my eyes are bothering me, I got to take these off. So if they really held so much value and they were so useful, right? And they were really enhancing or benefiting his gaming experience, then why would he ended up just taking them off? Why wouldn't he wear them all the time? Why would he need to put a price tag on it? Makes you think.
There have been times when my eyes are burning and they're stressed out, and I'll put these on, and no exaggeration, my eyes have less strain and actually don't burn anymore.
Can't even sell you on that. Can't even sell you on it. Oh, this is so sad. Oh, man. Holy shit. But yes, the helicopter company saw the value in Philip Paul Burnell, and that's why there was allegedly 2 departments, possibly 3, that were fighting to get him over there. So it just happened that he ended up just in customer service. Think about it, though. I want you to really think about that.
Okay, so these work. They absolutely do. I didn't know that until I actually started using them, but they legit work.
If that was the case, then what prompted you to buy them, Phil? Uh-oh. 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 Sorry, not uh-oh. But uh-oh. But uh-oh. Then what prompted you to buy them, Phil? Womp womp.
So if Gunner were to contact me and be like, hey, you know, we've heard you've used our glasses and you like them, you know, would you accept a sponsorship where you push them and you have a referral code or whatever? I'd probably say yes, because I like your product and I've used it and they're good. Okay?
That's until a compilation comes out of all the times that he's ever put on Gunner glasses with that $50 price tag, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, and then everything comes into perspective. Devil's in the details.
Thing with anything that I use, like these Link webcams, I really like them. These Link 360, what are they called? Insta 360 is the company, and then Link is the brand of webcam or whatever. These are great. I've used one right here and one over here. The AI tracking is neat, that it follows me through the room and it works and it has gesture controls. And for what I'm using, I think they're outstanding products, and they're not expensive. They're less than $200 each, and they're great quality products. If Insta360 contacted me and said, hey, would you accept the sponsor?
And here's the funny part, if you really think about it, I really want you to take this in. I want you to listen to what he says and how he says it, right? He accuses other sponsor or other content creators and or streamers of shilling it and it coming across as disingenuous, dishonest, and just trying to tote the company line. And yet, that's exactly what he sounds like. Imagine that. So realistically, he's calling all these other people sellouts and shills, and he probably really hasn't heard any of these people, quote unquote, shilling or selling out. And he's just going off of some old shit that he heard years ago, and or he's going off of something that he can heavily relate to, or what is in or within his own reason or understanding. That's how small Philip Paul Burnell's world is. I want you to really take that in. Very small, very tiny, teeny, 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 tiny. Very small. Minute, if you will.
You know, because you're using our equipment, and maybe, you know, you could push it forward onto people and say, hey, I use it all the time. You know, you should use it too, and having a referral code or whatever. I'd probably be like, yeah. But the thing is, I'm not going to actively seek that out. Right.
And that right there is another major problem that I've brought up for a while. Want to know why DSP never went back to E3 after him and John had their little fucking vacation out there and shit? Do you know why he doesn't ever go to Apex? The reason why he doesn't go to conventions at all. Do you know why he doesn't go out and seek sponsorship or do any of that shit? He likes the prestige of people bringing it to him, not the other way around. If he has to go out there and get it, it doesn't have any value, right? Whereas he is the chosen one. The company spotlighted him and were like, we want to invest in that guy. That guy is going places. That guy is talented. That guy can be of value to us. You see what I'm saying? Like, he likes when he is chosen, quote unquote, to do something, it boosts up his confidence, and he believes it boosts up his prestige to the people who are watching him. You know what I'm saying? Because, hey guys, only a few people get to be the chosen few. That's a term you guys have heard before, right? Or the golden children, if you will, or golden child, so on and so forth, but children in the wider sense. So on and so forth, right? You know what I mean? He likes that idea. That's why he won't go out of his way and do it himself. But that's a lie, because he's kind of been caught saying that before, that he did actively look for sponsorship and he got it, but then he spun it and whatnot. Then he spun it. And he did that to be like, oh, my detractors, trolls, haters, and critics say I can't get a sponsorship. Well, I did. Ha ha ha. And then it gets memory hold and no one ever brings it up again. Well, he won't. I will, but he won't. You know what I'm saying? So you get situations like that. And it just becomes even more problematic. But it gives you, though, yet again, another look into his psychopathy. You know what I'm saying? Where how he needs to feel valued. You know what I mean? So he ain't sat there and gone all these years with nothing because he was too lazy to go get it. and or he didn't see the value if he had to go out there and get it himself. It makes more sense for that to be presented to him. But alas, we got a problem. So you're okay with begging people day in, day out, but you won't put yourself out there to advertisers and sponsors? That seems weird. I'm not saying that he should beg them, but at least get himself out there. Get himself with some of these PR people, which are all over Twitter. They're easy to find, right? And say, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is what my numbers are looking like, look like. Can we do business? Oh, that's a problem though. His numbers are trash. Plus he has a hate mob of people who bring in more views than him. You know what I mean? So now, can't do that. Which only goes back to this vicious cycle of why he can't go out there and get sponsorship. He has to hope that he'll find a company or a set of companies that are so ignorant to who he is that that will be his way in. But even if that happens, I'm just going to lay the whole story out. But then even if that happens, then we get into the next problem. DSP himself. As soon as someone presents him a sponsorship, the first thing that comes out of his mouth is, I have this group of haters behind me and shit. I just want to let you know. Why would you say that? Why would you tell them that? If a company, and there are a lot of companies that do this, if they're not going to do any research on you, why would you tell them that front face? That's not a good idea because you're untested and you're unknown to them. So they don't have a reason to defend you just because they chose you in that particular instance. You were probably one of 100 people that they chose that particular day. Which means what, ladies and gentlemen? If you lose 1 out of the 100, you still got 99. So you're still going to be fine. You're not the heir. You're just one of the many expendable spares. But he don't see it that way. So he thinks this is where the pity angle is supposed to come into play. Oh, well, this poor guy, he's got a lot of problems, or there's a lot of people that are going after him, this, that, and third. We'll give him an extra attention. That's what he's expecting. The reality is, this is business, bitch, and I don't have time for that. You know what I'm saying? Bitches like you come a dime a dozen. I can afford to lose a couple of dozen of you. And he just don't understand business. And that's his problem. That's legitimately his problem. Summed up very elegantly by yours truly. Maybe not elegantly, but I like to think so.
I want to sit here and I want to make content. And I want to hang out with you guys and have fun. I don't want to sit here and be like, buy my merch, buy the cameras, buy the glasses, buy the food subscription, buy the toilet wipe, you know what I mean?
But yet you'll beg people to give you money to hit goals so you can do DSP tries to do, alas, the exact same thing. Imagine that.
That's not who I am. I never wanted to be a shiller. I could have done that ages ago. Back when I first started on YouTube, constantly companies were contacting me. Will you advertise our product? Will you advertise our game? Will you advertise this? And I said, no, 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 no.
You were stupid then. You could have been a front runner. You could have had a lot of opportunities. Actually, another piece of lore that most people don't talk about is there was one time where a game studio actually wanted him to fly out and test their game. Can't think of the company now. But they wanted him to fly out and come to the game studio and test the game and see how it all works instead of third. It's gonna be like a 2 or 3 day trip or whatever the case may be. And he turned it down because he wanted to chase ad revenue. Now I want you to think about the ignorance that's involved in this. There's a company that's willing to fly you out, all expenses paid, to go ahead and check out a game at this particular game studio. And you didn't do it because you wouldn't be able to put up content for the 2 or 3 days or whatever it was that he was going to be gone. So you're telling me this fucking ridiculous mongoloid couldn't have shelved, couldn't have squirreled away and or stocked up on, let's see, he was putting out what, between 30 and 50 videos a day. So let's say at max 150 videos, 200 actually. So the day he gets back, then he doesn't have to worry about doing anything there. Or the day after. So you're telling me he couldn't have squirreled away anywhere from 120 to 200 videos to stock up over 3 or 4 days so he could go out to a game studio, get even more footage, make some contacts and connections, and then have a pretty interesting story to come and tell his audience when he gets back. That's Philip Burnell for y'all, ladies and gentlemen. That's Philip Burnell for you.
I don't want to do it.
And then he got the nerve to be upset that people call him an e-beggar. Or something that hurts him even more so is if you call him poor. He hates that. Like, you know what I'm saying? The few times that gets brought up, he is just like Rich Review Tech USA. He's really, really sensitive when it comes to his finances, which is funny because if you were financially secure, you wouldn't worry about those type of things. Womp womp. Wings is like that too, now that I think about it. LTG is definitely like that. He hella like that. He's probably in a better position than most of those guys. Nah, probably not.
I mean, biggest case in point here, right? The whole WWE Champions thing, right? My detractors want you to believe that I spend like thousands upon thousands of dollars on WWE Champions every month. If that were true, wouldn't I get a sponsorship from WWE Champions? Wouldn't I be completely shilling the fuck out of that game constantly?
No, because they would. Because, oh, you're kind of catching yourself in a catch-22 here. No, because how would they know that you're a content creator, Phil? You're just another whale of a sea of many whales as it pertains to gacha games. How would they know that unless you told them, Phil? Which I think is what he's trying to use as his way out. Like, that's the door that he's left open so he can creep out of this conversation. But what do you think? These people are doing a background check on you, Phil? They only know what you tell them. There is no inherent value to you outside of that. Why would you think they would go the extra step for you or anybody else? That legitimately doesn't make any sense. Oh, well. Womp womp.
And taking a kickback. I mean, hell, I played the game on stream for how many months? 2-3 months?
And nothing came out of it. To be honest, it was a bunch of people fueling your fucking gambling addiction. And I think, honestly, if anybody from Scopey actually did watch some of those streams, they would see that you're a junkie. They would see that you're an addict. So them investing in you publicly would probably be a bad look. Not unless they forced you to put a 1-800 number on the bottom. Outside of that, I wouldn't. If I was a PR for WWE Champions, I wouldn't do that. I think that's a terrible idea. Because you're not doing it to have a good time. It's very clear, like people that you see on Twitch or YouTube, respectfully, who play WWE Champions, and you can see that they're genuinely having a good time, and then watching this junkie bitch just throw money at things and trying to justify, very hard, trying to justify why he needs to do this or why he should do this. There's a difference.
I could have contacted them and been like, hey, you know, let's go ahead and let's get a sponsorship going and send me some free stuff and shit, you know. But that's not me, you know what I mean? I don't care to do that. I want to make content. That's what I want to do. I've never been about getting that bag, nor do I want to be. So
then what are you doing this for then? Realistically speaking, what you do is obviously not producing enough, right? You're not raising capital by playing games online. So you have to beg. And you could say, oh, well, that's a supplemental income, if you will. But it's not. It's the main source of his income. Gaming is, quote unquote, the supplementary part, and it's dwindling by the year. And he knows that. And he doesn't want to admit it, but he knows that. Deep down, in his gut, he knows that's true. He knows that's true. And he thinks that there's more dignity begging to a bunch of people who are willing to watch your bullshit content, your slop content, than there is than there is by doing actual business. And the reason why that is, the reason why he doesn't want to do business is because he doesn't want to be beholden to somebody else. That's really all it comes down to. He feels just like how he treats his dents like his own little personal whores and financial sluts. He doesn't want to have to be someone else's whore. That's what it comes down to. So why would I bleed? Look at it this way. Why would he bleed himself to shill items to other people where he's only going to get a portion of it when he can just go ahead and sell his soul and his dignity and whatever else that he may or may not value, because he don't have pride, to these same people and get all the profit? I mean, at least until Uncle Sam, the biggest pimp of them all, come and get their cut. Look at it that way.
there you go.
See, he agrees with me. Take a sip, bitch.
Okay. What makes YouTube ads on videos okay with your morals in comparison to sponsorships? Keep in mind that I hate both. Because YouTube ads are
DSP hates ads too, which is even more ironic. DSP hates ads too.
easily avoidable in many different ways. First of all, let's be honest. Most people who watch YouTube have a way around the ads. Okay,
Yes.
that's number one.
Yep.
Most people do.
Yep.
For me, the best way around the ads is YouTube Premium because number one, I know that when I have YouTube Premium, I'm supporting.
Oh, stop that silly ass shit. He don't give a fuck about supporting. He don't give a shit about that. If that was the case, he wouldn't have bitched and complained when he initially started doing reaction content of having all those ads. If it was really about supporting his fellow content creators, he wouldn't bitch about that, to be honest.
The people on YouTube who I like.
But he don't like them. And yet again, let me go back to the well once again. Go back to the reaction content. Think about all of those first, well, throughout the whole time he was doing it, to be honest. But certainly in those first few months, how begrudgingly belligerent he was. Well, that's a double negative. How begrudging he was that he had to acknowledge, there we go, that he had to acknowledge that all these videos had millions and millions of views and he didn't see what was funny or entertaining or intelligent about any of it. He didn't understand any of this. Why it was funny, why did it get so big, this, that, and the third. Quite literally. But yet he wanted to support those content creators and he wanted to make sure that he was basically lending the hand to the next guy. Huh. Okay.
So when I watch a YouTuber who's a partner and I have YouTube Premium, I don't watch ads and they still get paid. So that's what I would hope a lot of people do. There's a good amount of people who have YouTube Premium who watch my content, and I really do appreciate that. So those of you who do,
that's after he had to beg you guys to get it. Keep that in mind.
Thank you so much. But let's be honest, YouTube ads have not been a big thing for ages. People get around them in a zillion different ways. That's like a moot point. It really is. Like, and the thing is, you may not realize this, you can't avoid YouTube ads anyway. Like, even if you don't monetize.
That's literally not true. There are browsers that have built-in ad blockers that stop all that bullshit. But whatever. He should know that by now.
Your channel, YouTube still puts ads on it now. So it doesn't matter. It's like, so I make money on ads or YouTube makes money on ads. I think I'd like to make the money on the ads.
Well, they're always going to make money off you. So either way, they still win. You kind of messed yourself up there. No matter what, YouTube's always going to make money off of you. No matter what. If your channel is unmonetized, there's still ads on your shit. You know what I'm saying? Or they're still generating money in some way, shape, or form off of it. So there's just no getting around that.
A big thing for ages. People get around them in a zillion different ways. That's like a moot point. It really is. Like, and the thing is, you may not realize this, you can't avoid YouTube ads anyway. Like, even if you don't monetize your channel, YouTube still puts ads on it now. So it doesn't matter. It's like, so I make money on ads or YouTube makes money on ads. I think I'd like to make the money on the ads. So I'll monetize the content with ads, but it's not avoidable anymore. Whatever you upload to YouTube, they now have the right to run ads on if you're not in the partner program. So it's kind of, this unavoidable thing, Yeah. And I do believe that YouTube Premium is worth the price for me. Number one, I'm someone who uses YouTube all day, every day for work. And I don't want to see ads on the shit that I have to use for work, including I'd even see ads on my own videos if I didn't have YouTube Premium. So thankfully, I avoid that.
That's a lie too. And this is an easily proven one, to be honest with you. There are plenty of times where DSP has admitted that he goes back and watches some of his videos to make sure that ads are on them and they're placed where they need it to be. Now, I've actually told you two things when I only need to prove one point, but there's a reason for that. Back during the Etika saga, when Etika passed away, and DSP took heat for having all of those fucking ads on that video that he said there was no ads on. He didn't put any ads. YouTube must have done it because he didn't do it. Yada, yada, yada. He took major heat for that bullshit. Problem was, before that situation with the Etika video, as well as afterwards, it was a podcast bottom bitch type shit. He admitted that he makes sure to go back and watch some of his videos to make sure the ads are where he needs them to be or where he wants them to be. So he literally fucked himself. And that's why he had to give up on the whole fighting for Etika and the whole trolls and memes bullshit, because Etika was just yet another person that he profited off of their death in the story.
then when I actually use YouTube for my show, I can play videos on it without ads running on it, right? Like I would have never been able to do any reacting or anything like that because of the ads being so atrociously bad. And like I said, I do want to support other creators. And so there are some YouTube channels and stuff that I watch and they get paid whenever I watch them. So that's great. And that's what that's really, I think the real benefit is that it pays it forward to the people who you watch as opposed to really worrying so much about ads. But yeah, like no one cares about it. They've all been skippable for 100 years. You know what I mean? Is that true? I'm being told YouTube is starting to crack down more and more on ad blockers these days. Again, I have premium and I've had it for years, so I don't know that. But the thing is, every time that
I'm kind of pretty confident that's not true either. He didn't have YouTube Premium for years. I think he only got that right around the time he started doing DSP Reacts, and that's whatever. His definition of time is different from everybody else, so never mind.
change something, the ad blockers just update and then change it anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, I heard for like one day ad blockers didn't work, so then they all just updated and now they work again. So it's just going to be an endless chase, right? YouTube will keep running and find a way to have ads that aren't blockable, and then the people will just block them anyway. You know what I mean? It's kind of an endless thing. Okay. I received a $5 tip. Thank you. Who is this? So this person says, to clarify, restreamers pull numbers and are active watching everything you're live. And I've seen them gift subs, gift money to the host and so on. Many just chill and actually respond to your opinions on games and events. Most are negative assholes. Some seem to enjoy the community. You enable them to have that because they're piggybacking on you. So as social beings, it's reasonable, in my opinion, to direct their attention every now and then the reality that you enable them to community they so desire and enjoy off of the mother channel. Of course.
Fuck that. Because if he was actually willing to have allowed to have open conversations, even if it's not with him, just in his chat, then it wouldn't be so much of a problem. Don't get me wrong, restreamers will still exist. People always look for an alternative market. But the reason why it's so prevalent is because dumbasses like himself was quick to get them the fuck out of there and shit. And they went ahead and they built something else off of him, if you will, or in conjunction with the bullshit slop he already puts out there. And there you go. That problem, that problem persists with Amberlynn Reed and Chantel, with most locals, to be honest with you. Obviously, LTG is a great example because he has a troll that's made over $100,000 off of his ass and whatnot. He can't do shit about it. Big ups to 342. But yeah, that dude, they sat there and made stupid money off of his ass, off of LTG, and he can't do nothing to stop it. He's trying to get him removed from every platform he can, and all you're doing is making him more resilient. It's kind of like the fight with Kiwi Farms, right? Not the Detractor fight with Kiwi Farms, that's a different thing. But like all those different places that wanted Kiwi Farms off the internet, all you did was make Josh stronger and smarter because he had to become more and more resourceful. He had to figure out other ways to keep the site up and whatnot. And though I don't not really approve, I just don't respect some of Josh's behavior. And I think he talks out of both sides of his mouth when it comes to certain shit. I also, mainly when it comes to free speech, I do think, though, I do respect his resolve. I do respect the fact that, you know, most people would have probably have collapsed under lesser circumstances, to be honest with you. So Josh does have my respect on that.
Here's the thing, though, all right? So thanks for the $5 tip. I appreciate that. You're right. And what you're saying is very reasonable, okay? And very smart, actually, and intelligent. Like, if you're watching someone make fun of someone, even if you don't like the person, understand that that person must be supported, because if they're not, they will not continue to make the content that you like to make fun of.
But why would I need to do that when you already are begging to a bunch of people who are already supporting it? What makes, if you want to look at it from that standpoint, and this idiot has said plenty of times before, every dollar counts, but then he wants to call people 50-bit bitches and shit like that. Semantics. If you already have a group of people that are willing to throw you money, why would I need to do that? That doesn't make any sense. I would much rather give my dollar to the restreamer than at that particular point. It's more, I'm more invested in the person who I'm going through to laugh at your bullshit than you. So why would I give you directly the money directly when I know because I've watched enough content that you have no other options, to be honest. and you'll literally sell out anybody to keep going. So why would I give money to you? Why would I want you to be comfortable? That's not entertainment to me. That's not content for me. I need you to be off-tilted. I need you to be struggling. I need you to be pissed off. To be honest, I need you to be greedy. Well, I don't need you to be greedy. It's funny though when it happens though. But in that, you're always going to be greedy no matter what. I don't even need to feed that. Your greed will feed itself because it has nothing else. Why would I feel the need to give you money on any of that? That just doesn't make a whole lot of sense, to be honest with you. That really seems kind of silly. And what do you think is more valuable? Investing in Darksydephil or investing in the community that you're part of? Which one do you think is more important? Which one do you think has more longevity? Because whoever the content creator you're going through, if DSP trips, falls, and breaks his motherfucking neck, God forbid, you could just go on to the next locale. That content creator will just move on to somebody else. And 50% of the content, I'd say a little bit more than that to be honest, but 50% of the content is the person that you're watching, not the person that they're making fun of. Don't get me wrong, there's an amount of investment in all of it. He's a component in the machine. He's definitely a gear or a cog, no pun intended, but pun intended, in the machine. But that cog can be replaced. Womp womp.
So you should every once in a while support it regardless, right? So
you shouldn't say you should do anything. You shouldn't say to people, you should give me money. You can give me money. You can choose to support, but you don't have to give me anything. You shouldn't give. I'm not going to tell you you should give me anything. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. At least not to me, anyway.
There you go. But the thing is, what you're saying is intelligent. And I hate to say it, a lot of people who watch something just to crap on it are not intelligent people.
So then why would you want their money, retard? How stupid is that? You know, that's a great screenshot, by the way. That might be a thumbnail. But why would you want unintelligent people to give you money? Why would you want to be financially dependent on unintelligent people? Think about it that way. Here's the thing I've been saying for years, and I mean it. Before you think about investing in myself or any other content creator, invest in yourself, to be honest. It fundamentally makes sense. What good is you giving up your last $5 to me or anybody else when you could take that $5 to benefit yourself, right? And put you in a better position or whatever. You know what I'm saying? A buck goes a long way, realistically speaking. It's more valuable for you to take that money, invest in yourself, and push yourself forward. You could always throw a couple bucks at someone later on down the line. But if you're down to like your last $5, $10, $100, it doesn't really provide you long-term stability or value or even entertainment or sustenance from entertainment by giving it to me or anybody else. I would much rather you bank that, build off of that, and get yourself in a better position. That right there leads to the embetterment and the enrichment of all of us. DSP don't believe that. That's why he has to depend on the same 4 or 5 people on multiple stock accounts, by the way. That's why he has to depend on 4 or 5 fucking people. That's why he's making the argument now, trying to convince people to convince his detractors, trolls, haters, and critics to give him money. Because this idiot's running out of options. That's the reason why this whole thing, this whole conversation even exists. I want you to think about that. Always invest in yourself first.
Intelligent people are people who have lives, have constructive, positive things going on for themselves, and you know, families, relationships,
which you don't have either.
Jobs and careers.
You don't have either.
Hobbies.
You don't have that either. Like, you want to really keep going with all this?
They don't have time to just sit around and dump on people 24/7.
So what about your time investment in Kino Casino when you should be spending time with your wife or while your wife is sleeping? How about that? How about how you purposely saturate your week so you can spend the minimum amount of time with Catherine as possible and you still say that you live a meaningful life, even though everybody that you've ever tried to explain and or justify your living experiences to have said that's unhealthy, that's not normal, you need to stop. Womp womp.
The people who have time to do that are miserable wretches. That's the truth, is that this entire...
And yet you let these miserable wretches bother you so damn much. Why is that? Why would you let, according to you, a useless person bother you? How does that make sense? And if you have all of these advantages, and or you have all these things to fight for, to work towards, and this, that, and the third, why would you be bothered by somebody else's opinion? Don't worry, I'll wait.
Online culture of people who hate watch, the reason they hate watch is because...
Now keep in mind though too, let me put this in perspective. Because his whole life is the internet is the reason why he bitches and complains about it. Doesn't sound like much of a life if you think about it. Just because you profit off the internet doesn't mean the internet is your life. But Philip Paul Burnell never learned that lesson.
Because they don't have a good life for themselves. If they did...
And what is a good life exactly? Like, he can't explain that to you. He can't articulate that to you. He can only tell you what he has, which are things he don't even value anyway. They're just shields. Ask him when you get, well, not you, like convince a dent, your local dent, to ask him what exactly are the aspects of a good life. And then have him explain to you how those values contribute to what he has. And what he displays, and what he articulates on a day-to-day basis. See how far he goes with that.
They wouldn't have to spend time hating on others' lives. So they really don't have that rational level of thought in their heads.
Now keep in mind, it's the same guy who has shitted on other content creators for no other reason than he was jealous of them. He shitted on guys in the FGC for no other reason than he was jealous of them. He shitted on other streamers for no other reason than he was jealous of them. Keep that in mind.
To say, oh yeah, well, it's common sense to think, I like making fun of Phil. Phil needs support to stay in business. Let me support his business so we can make fun of him more.
But why would I do that though? Like, if I'm making fun of you for all of your own mistakes and ineptitudes, why would I want to contribute to that? That doesn't make any sense. That'd be me enabling you. You have a gambling addiction. Why would I want to throw money at that? You're an alcoholic. Why would I want to throw money at that? You're a pathological liar. Why would I want to throw money at that? Shall I keep going? I can. You abuse your wife. Certainly emotionally, but damn sure mentally. Why would I want to support that? Why would I want to give money to that? Don't worry. I'll wait.
Right? Here's a perfect example.
Oh, yes.
For years, there was this silly meme about me doing push-ups. Okay?
You mean the push-ups you lied about? What was it? 20, 25 push-ups in 20 seconds? It wasn't a meme. It was some dumb shit that you did that you lied about. But then you had the nerve to turn around to the person who supposedly was supposed to give you the money, and you bitched and complained at them and banned them over a lie. If that doesn't make him a sick monkey, I don't know what does.
2 weeks ago on Smart Guys, PPP and I set this up that I was going to do push-ups, but people needed to support it.
But it wasn't even a push-up and you did it for free. I don't remember people giving you money, not directly to do that. And I don't know if a push-up was for you to give, I don't know if a push-up is what you did. Actually, I know it wasn't. You lazily letting gravity push that sad example of a fucking pelvis to your floor and then you struggling to get back up is not a push-up. Sorry, champ. That's not how that works. Your father should be ashamed of himself and you.
You've wanted to...
But then again, if that's an ailment, if that's a negative trait of the Burnell family shit, I can understand why he couldn't pull out. Just saying. Oh, that's so sad.
See me do push-ups and make fun of me doing push-ups for how many years?
You didn't do push-ups. You barely did a push-up.
Years. Okay? Here's the truth. For me, it's no big deal. I don't care.
So is that why you didn't do it?
I don't care if I can get on this floor and do 20 push-ups or not. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even factor into me or my life.
So you being in shape doesn't bother you? If you can't do 20 push-ups, there's a problem. You do realize that, right, Fateful? Like, you do understand that, right? There are people out here with no legs who can do a push-up. Who can do more than 20, actually, more often than not. Like, the standard is you should be able to do between 25 and 50 push-ups. If you can't do that, then we have problems. Unless you're physically disabled. And even then, you have people who are physically disabled who can still do that. So how are you sitting there saying, I can't do a basic exercise, does not factor into my life, is as mentally ill as you're gonna get. That's insane. Something to think about.
If I can do them, great. If I can't, it doesn't matter. I can still do my work. I can still have a fun life.
So you sitting on your ass bitching and complaining about how your life is so much better than everybody else, but you can't physically do anything? If you can't do 50 push-ups, then how the fuck are you supposed to make me think that you can satisfy your wife? Make that make sense, buddy. I can see why Panda left.
I don't care if I can do push-ups. Only my detractors care. So we said, hey, let's hit our goal for today and Phil will do the push-ups. Guess what didn't happen? We didn't get any contributions at all for it.
You couldn't do a push-up. Why would I pay yet again? Why would I pay for that?
Now that's the content they claim they want, right?
I didn't claim I wanted that. I laughed at the fact that you couldn't do it. And I laughed at the fact that you lied about it. I give no fucks whether you can do a push-up or not. I really don't. I already know you can't. And you'll never be able to disprove me otherwise. And even if you could, you'd fail at it miserably. And we all know that. That's the reason why you won't do it. But you can prance like a little bitch, though. You're good at that. Oh, you're real good at that. That was very funny. That was very what's that, burlesque-like, kind of, sort of. You know what I'm saying? That was showing off those calf muscles, Phil. Good job.
They've claimed for how many years we want the push-ups because we could want to make fun of Phil doing push-ups. But then when it's time to...
But it's funnier the fact that you can't do push-ups. What are you talking about? Why are you trying to make this, come up with this phantom demand that clearly didn't happen off of one situation that you couldn't rise to the occasion on, which is something that happens quite a bit at the Burnell house, from what I've been told.
Put the money where the mouth is, 0 is received. So this is the point. It's not that these people, these hate watchers, right?
Oh boy.
The reason that they hate watch is to feel better about themselves because they're miserable wretches and embarrassments to humanity. That's not me actually like insulting them. That's me being truthful. People don't.
So then how is it that when I say that you're a worthless individual that your mother should have swallowed, Linda should have swallowed, or Dave should have pulled out? And everything that you've ever done in your entire life, you failed at monumentally. Whether it was immediately or later on down the line, that stuck with you and you'll never be able to wash it off. How is that evil and mentally ill and all this different things that you like to put out? But you could go ahead and come up with the most uninformed opinions on everything, anything and everything. And, oh, because it's your opinion, it should have merit to it. How does that make sense? Jesus Christ, Phil, you better hope I never get into a fucking debate with you. You better pray that day never comes.
Don't watch people to make fun of them unless they have something bad going on in their own life they need to feel better about.
But you're okay with people making fun of you as long as they give you money? Isn't that a double negative? You want people who allegedly don't have lives and are miserable fucking wretches and shit, and essentially have nothing to live for, according to what you're saying. That's terrible. But you're willing to overlook it if they give you money? How mentally ill does that sound? Okay.
People who are busy with positive things don't have time to dump on others 24/7.
Well, then maybe you should go ahead and take your own advice on that, but womp womp.
So, in that regard,
if you're busy and you have a fruitful and fulfilling life, then why would you need to be jealous of somebody, Phil? You know, like all those content creators and streamers and other people who are successful. Womp womp.
That's why they're not going to pay to see what they want, because then if you pay, you feel like, oh no, well, I just improved the life of the person who I'm trying to bring down.
Do you really think that anybody who gives you money on a day-to-day basis is improving your life? You're an alcoholic. You have a gambling addiction. You have a spending addiction. Is that really enriching your life in any type of way? I've seen Kat. Does she look like she's benefited from the Burnell fucking marrying into the Burnell family and getting the fucking dent stimulus package? Does she look like she benefit from it? Jesus Christ, Phil. Jasper can't even get a $300 fucking blood test. Tell me how your life is better in being enriched. Don't worry, I'll wait.
You kind of see what I'm saying here? Like, they need to degrade someone to feel better about themselves, so if they supported that person, they would feel like they're improving the person they're trying to degrade.
But it doesn't improve you, though. Okay, all right. This isn't a blanket statement. Like, that's like the equivalent of you giving. Let me give you an example. Actually, let's do that. If I gave, let's say, for example, I can pick any detractor, troll, hater, or critic that just comes to mind. If let's say that I gave like $5,000 to them, like I randomly just donated $5,000 to them, it will be never under this name. It'll always be under a fucking alias. That's how I fucking support people. You'll never see it under this name. But let's say I was to do that, $5,000, right? For most detractors, trolls, haters, and critics, that $5,000 will, in some way, shape, or form, go back to the content, right? Or they'll invest in themselves, which in turn enriches the content. You see what I'm saying? If you gave $5,000 to Wings of Redemption, where's that going to go? Well, first thing, he's probably going to be like, thanks, but you know what? I really need to do something about my air conditioner or some shit like that. Or Kelly needs the money for some 5,000 step marathon or whatever the fuck. So, you know, keep donating, people. Or if you give it to DSP, it's just going to go into the void and you'll never hear about it again. And if you ever bring it up, you're probably going to get banned. You know what I'm saying? It's going to go to literally nothing. But you could donate it to any streamer of choice. Let's get out of the vortex for a minute. You could give that to any other streamer on Twitch or YouTube, respectfully, maybe Kick, and you'll see actual improvement somewhere down the line. You know what I mean? Anything that is fucking rewarded will be repeated, if you will. DSP is not given money to do better or be better or produce something better. He begs so he can continue to exist. And therefore, he keeps doing what he's doing because it's always worked in his advantage. If you really think about it, in the concept of DSP's content, begging is probably the most profitable thing that he does because it requires the least amount of effort. Because the dude doesn't have any standards, any morals, or any values. He doesn't respect anything because he has nothing to respect. He doesn't have anybody to respect. He doesn't value anything or anybody. He doesn't even value himself. He don't leave the house. So what does he have to be prideful for? You know what I'm saying? He has an ego, but that's because he lives online. He doesn't like the fact that his name is slandered, even though he's done everything in his power to enrich and allow people to do so. And at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, the whole point of this video is him literally trying to convince people who don't like him to give him money so he can continue to exist. So what? So people can continue to hate him? So he thinks that he's doing some weird ass reverse psychology to be like, you hate me, but you have to give me money. Or let's go ahead and do the reverse of it. I hate DSP, but I have to give him money. So Snort Burnell, one of my favorite content creators, if not my favorite, continues to make content and keep making content. Like, make that make sense. Like, legitimately make that make sense. I'll just give money to Snort Burnell directly. It's easier. And I feel value from it. I feel value from that. I get value from that. Why the fuck would I want to give DSP the money directly? That sounds stupid as shit.
At least that's my take, right? Maybe.
Well, yeah, but you're a fucking mongoloid, though. Like, why would I fucking take anything that you say seriously?
I'm wrong.
Even though I'll mock the shit out of it. Don't get that twisted. I'll mock the fuck out of it. But why would I take it seriously, though?
But the funny part is, some people actually do come by after some time and be like, you know.
Uh-oh, now we got to fix the narrative. I kind of already predicted this, but let's go ahead and hear him say it. It's even more pathetic than you think.
Phil, out of all that hate watching and all the crap, I'm sorry for it. And I just want to let you know, I'm moving forward positively. Either I'm not going to watch you at all anymore, or I've actually started watching you positively on your own raw content, and I've become a fan. I'm not watching the regurgitation, the restreamer, the hater. I'm actually coming by and becoming a viewer of yours now that's going to hang out and support you.
That's funny because you never see any of that, though, unless they're anonymous. Right. And you never see any of those guys stand up in his streams and say, hey, I was such and such. I feel better about that now. They never do that at all. It's always under some dummy name that was made 6 months ago, and it only really kind of started becoming active that particular day. That seems suspicious. That seems a bit sus.
That's happened. I get those kind of messages quite frequently. I'd say probably a couple times a month.
Couple times a month. Sure he does. Yeah. That makes sense.
I'll get someone who reaches out to me via private means and says, just so you know, I used to be one of these really dedicated haters, but now I've seen the error of my ways. I think that it's stupid, and I'm going to move forward, you know, positively. Well, right. Cracker Jack says kind of like a bully in school. Exactly. Remember I told you the story? When I was in high school, I was bullied by this guy. All right. And then years.
That's funny because he talks about, well, the few times that he's talked about it, he's talked about being bullied a couple of times. Actually, not even a couple, a few, to be honest. But this one guy in particular got troll remorse. Just like allegedly, supposedly, Mike Watson had troll remorse after what he said at SoCal Regionals that year with John Choi and Alex Valle. But no one can ever really prove that. And I haven't heard Watson actually say, yeah, I reached out to DSP privately through YouTube message or whatever it was and said, yeah, what I said on that panel, I didn't really mean it. Sorry about that, Phil. I don't think that happened. I'm pretty confident it didn't, to be honest. Mike Watson seems like a stand-up guy and be like, yeah, I actually said that, or whatever. Or maybe I felt like I went too far. But I haven't seen that clip yet.
Later. Like I think I was either in like my late years of going to university, you know, whatever. I was like in my early 20s. The guy actually reached out to me online and personally apologized to me for being a bully in high school. And I was like, just so you.
But you weren't Darksydephil, DSP Gaming, or any of that bullshit in high school, though. Like, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And matter of fact, weren't you already out of university? You said you might have been in university when this happened, but you weren't in university, though. See, that makes it seem like he actually had a life outside of YouTube. And that's how he reached out to him. But he won't say how they did it. He doesn't say, was it, you know, MySpace or Facebook or whatever. And I don't think he actually got a Twitter until he started actually making content. Whatever. What did your bullies have your email address, Phil? Did they have your phone number or your text message? If you really think about it, it don't make a whole lot of sense, but whatever. Semantics.
You know, I appreciate it, but you didn't have to because I don't really care. It didn't really bother me. You know what I mean? But that was nice.
It didn't bother you that you were getting bullied? Okay. That explains a lot, actually, now that I think about it.
But that's what I mean. These people are essentially anonymous bullies, and the reason they do it is because they need to feel better about themselves because they're miserable wretches. You know? So in a way, you got to feel bad for those people because imagine if your whole life was just dumping on someone. That's all you did all day. Like,
how do you know that that's all they do all day, though? Like, you're the one that has to live this shit. I don't. I can only speak for myself. I don't spend every minute of my waking day behind this mic. Like, you're the one that has to sit there and live this shit. Your entire life is online and shit. I jump in when I feel like it and I leave after I'm done. End of story. I guess that would theoretically kind of make you an internet prostitute if you think about it that way. Except for I don't really give you money. But my time theoretically is money. But because you're a hobby and you're kind of, it's like golf. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have to wait for you to come around. And when you do, I go ahead and send you flying, and then I choose whether I'm ready to go after you or not, to be honest. Like, you're not the end-all be-all of anybody's existence. Well, maybe if you're a Detractor, but outside of that, you know what I mean? I don't know.
What?
To each their own, I suppose.
Constructive things. That's your life you're wasting. Do you understand that? Like, you're literally wasting your entire life away.
Now, here's the weird part. If you're a bully, right, and you're not willing to give DSP money, why the fuck would he care about how you spend your time? You know how weird that is? That's like me saying, I don't give a fuck, or I give a damn about what my ops are thinking about or what they do all day and shit. Like, that seems weird. Like, if it's not to that street level where, you know, shit actually really needs to happen, and it's just on some lame-ass online shit, I don't give a fuck about how you decide to waste your time. You're wasting your time. What do I give a fuck about that? Why would I waste my time thinking about how you waste your time? What sense does that make? That legitimately is ass backwards. But that's what he's doing. Think about that.
And one day you're going to die. And you're going to say, oh shit, I spent years of my life sitting around with a community of nut jobs, dumping on someone on the internet when I could have done things for myself that would have improved my own life situation instead of living in a shitty.
It's funny how he wants to have an opinion on everything and everybody, but he doesn't want anybody to have an opinion on him. So when he had gone on that, it was a few months at least, that few month long campaign over a fucking BK chicken sandwich. You didn't think he was wasting his time doing that, or was it content? Or when he was sitting there fantasizing about fucking Stuttering Craig having an 18-month-long fucking civil war, no, Cold War between the two of them, that Craig was like, that didn't happen, Phil. I haven't been thinking about you. I don't know what you're talking about. But DSP was adamant that, yeah, for 18 months you've been thinking about me. That right there wasn't a waste of time or mental illness, or your energy couldn't have gone somewhere else, Phil? Or the year-long campaign that he's had against PewDiePie? Or any successful content creator, to be honest? The fuming he still has for Mitch Dyer and some of those people, probably don't even remember who he is at this point. You know what I mean? Like, think about that. Like, really take all of that in. The projection is real, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I'm saying.
Small place in squalor. I could have went out and I could have got a job. I could have worked my ass off. I could have had a relationship with a significant other. I could have made amends with my friends. And
not every person you're in a relationship with, Phil, is going to turn out to be your significant other. And it's funny that you always say that, but you have a hard time spitting out your wife. You know how weird that is, Phil? If you really listen to him, when he says significant other, that'll come out almost instantaneous. But when it says wife, when he has to say wife, he struggles a bit. I've always thought that to be weird. It's a real strange way of reacting.
Family members and went out and had a good time, but instead I was at home watching other people make fun of Darksydephil.
Well, that's kind of funny, Darksydephil. Why don't you take your wife out and actually have a, like a day with each other and shit? Why does it always have to be comboed with appointments and errands and this, that, and the third? Why can't you just take another day off and just spend time with your wife? Why don't you just do that shit? Why don't you guys go out and have a picnic or something? Why does everything have to be financially dependent? You know what I'm saying? Is Kat a prostitute? Will she only deal with you if money's involved? I'm asking. I'm just asking. It's more intelligent to ask than just go ahead and come up to then make assumptions, right, Phil? So, I mean, what is that? Is that the only way that she'll actually deal with you, is if money's involved? If that's the case, is that really a relationship, or is that an arrangement? I'm just asking. For a friend. Snort.
Who's the real loser in this situation? The guy who's living large, having a great life?
Living large by begging people for money and wanting his ops to buy in on, he wants his ops to buy in so he can keep doing what he's doing, but that's living large? Wow, man, the expectations of living large must have changed, I suppose.
Enjoying his content, enjoying his time with his viewers, and making bank doing it, and just, having positivity and fun.
You can't even sell that lie. Let me bring that back. Making bank doing it. Then he had to close his eyes and shake his head, knowing damn well that shit isn't true.
I was at home watching other people make fun of Darksydephil. Who's the real loser in this situation? The guy who's living large, having a great life, enjoying his content, enjoying his time with his viewers.
Phil, if you have to keep raffling that off, like every day or every time you have to make a point, it would almost make people believe that you don't have those things. It almost sounds like wishful thinking, which comes across as being rather pathetic, Phil. You ever thought about that, kid? Might be, has that ever been articulated to you in such a way that you were willing to actually digest? It sounds pretty pathetic if you have to keep telling people you have something or you are somebody. Seems kind of lame. Just throwing it out there.
And making bank doing it, and just, having positivity and fun. Or the person who's on the other end of it, who all you can do is try to bring me down and fail every single day.
But I don't need to bring you down. You literally have to beg to survive. Which is weird, because now you're saying that you're making bank, but then you need people to buy in and support you. You do realize how both of those statements contradict each other, right? See how that's a thing, right? Oh, well, okay.
And then your life is going to be the one that's squandered, not mine. I'm enjoying my life. Every day that I'm on this stream, I'm having a great time.
Yeah, you look it. Yeah, you look like you're having a great time, Phil.
Obviously not you. So, I mean, again, it's all about kind of like self-awareness. People who are self-aware, you get to that certain...
You want to talk about self-awareness? You want to talk about self-awareness now? Okay. Let me ask you a question about self-awareness, Phil. When did Kat become self-aware that when she woke up and she realized she was 200 pounds heavier than she was when she first got there? What did that moment of clarity come across as, Phil? I'm asking for a friend.
Age at that certain level of maturity in your life, and you realize some certain things, right?
Really? You mean like when you were 35 years old and you realized that you couldn't use a fucking washing machine? Is that maturity that you're talking about, Phil? Is that what that is? Or are you talking about when you were like 38, 39 and you realized that you didn't have a drill, but even if you did, you couldn't use it? So you sat there and used what? Some type of adhesive tape to put up a fucking a fucking coat rack, basically. You know what I'm saying? For all of his vests. You mean like that? Was that maturity, Phil? Was that what that was? Or when you were trying to explain your taxes, right? And whatnot to the side scrollers, and they were like, that's not how that works, Phil. That's no. Like I remember Adam immediately was like, yeah, that's not how that actually happens, Phil. And then the only thing you could do was sidestep to, oh, I pay somebody a lot of money to take care of all that for me. But you're still wrong, Phil. That's not how that works. You mean like that? Was that maturity that you're spouting off about? I can keep going if you want, Phil.
You know what it really is? If you get to a certain age, here's the truth. All right, here's some real talk from Phil Burnell, not Darksydephil, but here's some real talk from Phil Burnell right now.
Mm-hmm.
At one point in your life, you're going to get old enough where people around you, sadly, are going to start to get sick and pass away.
Well, I mean, yeah, but you don't really talk to your parents, though. So that, I mean, unless you're begging them for money. So there's that. And Kat's health is declining because she ain't sat there and eaten herself damn near into oblivion and whatnot, which you could have countered that. You could have stopped that or mitigated that. Okay. There might be actually a deeper meaning to this shit, and I might be missing it, to be honest. Maybe it's all in how you said it. Let me bring this back. Starting to feel like this is getting into foreshadowing type shit, honestly.
A certain age, here's the truth. All right, here's some real talk from Phil Burnell, not Darksydephil, but here's some real talk from Phil Burnell right now.
That's funny, as if you guys are like, as if you're two separate people. That's hilarious. Oh man.
At one point in your life, you're going to get old enough where people around you, sadly, are going to start to get sick and pass away. It happened to me probably around the early 2010s when some of my family members started to get ill with cancer and things like that and pass away.
Are you talking about the aunt that sat there and had gout and was a lesbian and she was living in your condo, but she kept falling and whatnot? And you made it seem like, bitch, why do you keep falling? Just pay me the fucking rent. Until she ended up getting put into a home, and then she stayed there for a number of years, and then she died, and then, according to him, his family were basically piranhas waiting to see what she left them, and she didn't leave them anything except for a stack full of bills. She had sat there and spent all of her own money up years and years and years ago, and was just racking up bills to leave them, which kind of gives you an idea of how the Burnell family dynamic is. They're all very spiteful, ruthless people, apparently. You mean that, Phil? Is that what you're talking about? Was that situation, Phil? I'm asking. Just asking. Actually, I need another SnortBucks too. Let me ask for one of those too.
And when that happened, all of a sudden, reality smacked me right in the face. I'm not invincible. I'm not immortal.
Well, you were never either one of those things anyway.
I'm going to get older. I'm going to die.
Yeah, that's kind of the concept. Everything that starts has an end. So, it's a thing. For someone who raffles off about philosophy, you should kind of know that, but whatever.
I have limited time on this planet, and I need to start making the best of it.
Well, maybe you should have done that before now, to be honest with you. And your limited time on this planet really is determined on what you do as a person. You don't wait until your 40s to start fixing shit. You can, but you probably shouldn't. But you can. I'll give you that. But you probably shouldn't. You should probably be a bit more mindful. I don't know. When I get up there to your age, we'll talk about it further. If you're around, of course. You sound like you're ready to die already, so womp womp.
Instead of just saying, fuck it all, it's all meaningless, and squandering it all.
I mean, but that's what you do with your finances, your friendships, any type of relationships you may have ever had, any opportunities. You of all people should understand that, Phil. So what exactly can you teach me, or what exactly can you articulate to me that I haven't already seen through your own actions? Guess you can't answer that question.
And when that happened, okay, things changed for me. I started to realize it's time to stop being a negative, toxic jerk and instead trying to spread positivity.
Really? When did you stop doing such and start doing the other? When did that happen? Just because you say it doesn't mean that you do it, which means you didn't mean it. But still, did I miss something? When did you stop being a negative piece of shit and started spreading positivity? Too bad that positivity didn't go towards your wife. I mean, it went towards her waistline, I suppose. If getting fat is a good thing, of course. I don't believe that it is, especially for someone who had such a small frame in the first place. You really shouldn't be going from, what was Roseanne's sister's name on the show? It was Jackie, I think. Maybe. I think her name is Jackie. Let's go with Jackie. You don't go from Jackie to Roseanne size in 5 years. That's not a thing. You have kids, maybe, but obviously you guys don't have that. So that's just not a thing. That's not rational. Now that I think about it, if I really take it into consideration, she was gaining weight. She was putting on weight actually at the time that you guys got married. Hold on, let me dig in my bag here. So Kat showed up Valentine's Day of 2018. You guys got married April 10th of 2019. And she was already putting on weight at the time of the marriage, because when we saw your wedding picture, she already looked kind of, I don't want to say bloated. She definitely looked like she was packing on weight, to be honest. Like, she was putting on weight. I won't say packing on. That came later. But she was definitely putting on weight, and that was in just over a year. Just to give concept, or just to give context, if you will, to what her situation and circumstances were. How do you explain that, Phil?
Amongst the people who I have interactions with, I changed my attitude in the Street Fighter community and started becoming a positive tournament organizer.
That's literally not true, but whatever.
I stopped being a toxic jerk who crapped on every piece of gameplay I ever did, but instead,
that's literally not true either.
Wanted to make positive, fun, interactive streams with my viewing audience. And this happens as you get older. But I feel like there are some people who never get that moment of self-awareness and awakening where they feel the human condition for the first time. Some people never get it because they're living in this isolated bubble where they actually think that, like, there's fucking a special snowflake. And
literally projecting at this point.
You know what I mean? Oh, I'm never going to die. Nothing's ever going to happen. I could sit here for endless hours.
Oh, you can see by the counter there that's not us. That's not us at all.
Phil. I could sit here.
Oh, that's Comcast, man. Come back with a vengeance. Is that what that is?
People around me. Instead, what I did is I just brought people down. I hated on people.
Big ups to Raw Phil showing that resourcefulness. Big ups. Big ups to Raw Phil.
I crapped on people. I think there was a blip in my internet. I should be okay. I'll wait a second. People are saying it's buffering. I should be back. It looked like there was a tiny blip in my internet. It went zoop and came right back. Are we back now? Okay, good. We're back. Yeah, I don't know. It just went zoop and right back. My internet went like red, green, just like that. So anyway, so yeah, that's it. Anyway, I think, so yeah, that's it. And I think you need to reach that level. I think what happens is it'll happen to everyone. Like, everyone's going to get to that point in their life. For me, it was about, the first realization I had was in my late 20s, all right, when I realized that when I stopped trolling in the Street Fighter community and instead...
that was after you groomed Panda? Is that what that was?
Tried to do positive things like run tournaments and stuff, that I was feeling much...
Oh, no, it wasn't after you... It wasn't then. There was still a couple more years before Panda was getting groomed. Holy shit.
Much better about myself and everyone liked me, as opposed to previous to then, everyone hated my guts and wanted to beat my ass.
How is it that no one ever... No, Phil. What the fuck? When everybody liked you. Yeah, right. If that was the case, then why'd you leave? Why'd you leave then if everybody liked you, Phil?
It was about, well, the first realization I had was in my late 20s, all right, when I realized that when I stopped trolling in the Street Fighter community and instead tried to do positive things like run tournaments and stuff, that I was feeling much better about myself and everyone liked me as opposed.
So you only started feeling better about yourself when people started liking you. Do you not know how pathetic that sounds, Phil? I guess self-esteem is not a thing, huh? I guess pride really isn't a thing, man. You need people to like you to make you to feel better about yourself. You know how small-minded that is, to be honest? Yikes. But then again, this is coming from the same person, right? Phil's on record for saying this, that he didn't feel any meaning, that his life had any meaning, or his words didn't have any value until YouTube. So keep that in mind too. Mental illness at its peak, I gotta tell you.
To previous to then, everyone hated my guts and wanted to beat my ass. And I was like, oh yeah. In conversation, rather than it just being about me making content and talking about games, it became about us having a social experience. And when we started doing that, I had this big realization that
was a big ass jump. Man, how much of a jump was that, actually? Let's take this back. Okay, let's start there.
it'll happen to everyone. Like everyone's going to get to that point in their life. For me, it was about, well, the first realization I had was in my late 20s, all right, when I realized that when I stopped trolling in the Street Fighter community and instead tried to do positive things like run tournaments and stuff, that I was feeling much better about myself and everyone liked me, as opposed to previous to then, everyone hated my guts and wanted to beat my ass. And I was like, oh yeah, in conversation, rather than it just.
That's a big ass jump, bro. We ain't lost like 20 fucking seconds or some shit of context. That's a damn shame. And what are you gonna do? This shit happens, but that's a huge ass leap. Hell.
Being about me making content and talking about games, it became about us having a social experience.
When they were able to give you money directly instead of just donating right to your PayPal because they didn't have another way of doing it. Okay, gotcha, Phil.
And when we started doing that, I had this big realization that instead of just being a negative jerk all day, every day, I wanted to spread positivity and I wanted to make an impact on people that mattered.
But you do make an impact on people, I think. I mean, much to your own deficit, but you make an impact on people. There are plenty of stories out there amongst the detractors, trolls, haters, and critics, and the people who watch or interact with them, of people choosing to make significant changes, to be honest with you, as it pertains to education, their weight, socially and otherwise, just off of your own ineptitudes and or mistakes and or shortcomings. I would say that you've had a positive change on people, just not in the way that you want and not on the people that you try to say or that you try to preach to that you're changing their lives in a positive way. That's the thing that makes you mad. That's the thing that pisses you off. When he hears about people on, like, for example, the farms who are like, yeah, man, over the last like 2 years, I've lost like 50 pounds, right? That shit pisses him off because that's not somebody in his fan base and or viewer base or somebody who's giving him money. That's his ops. And why would he want his ops to benefit? You know what I'm saying? Why would he want them to get better, grow as individuals and so on and so forth? That don't benefit him. You gotta think about that.
And so I changed my content for the better. I changed my commentary. I changed my style of playing games, right? Everything changed. Take a look.
Everything meaning two? You couldn't even give me a third option? All right, though. That's everything, though.
When I became a full-time streamer in 2017, how different my content became moving forward after that.
Because you had no choice. That's completely different.
Since compared to before that. And, you know, a lot of people will say, well, everything before that was the golden era. I get that. That was my formative years when I was at my biggest popularity. But I like who I am and what I do today way more than what I did back then. And I would never want to go back to that. All right. So I feel like these people.
Even so, the time he was making more money, at least that's arguable. You could arguably say he was making more money, and he had more opportunities. Those are all bad, apparently. And the time currently is the best. Okay, that sounds like cope, but whatever. We can go with that.
People who hate watch right now, they're at a time in their lives when they're miserable. They're probably younger. They probably don't understand that what they're doing is harmful, not only to me and my community, but harmful to their own.
How is it harmful to you that, how is it harmful to you to me having an opinion, or anybody else for that matter? What sense does that make? I'm not sending people over there to fucking break down your door and shit. It's not like that. I can't help that you're mentally ill. It's not my fault. I can't help that you can't fucking handle criticism. Can't do shit about that. And if any of those three things bother you, you need to get the fuck up off the internet. You don't have to. You probably should, but you don't have to. And I'm going to keep sending shots down range in Minecraft. So, like, that's not my problem or issue. It's not my fault that you're so small, that you're so small-minded, and or your community, that none of y'all can take criticism, or you guys can't handle people laughing at you. That's not a me problem. That's not a me issue. Which means I don't have to give any fucks about it. Which I don't.
Selves, right? They're actually wasting their own time on this planet when they could be.
This is a really pathetic self-defense mechanism. Basically, this sounds like the bullshit that he probably told his bullies. Hey man, you sitting here throwing me in this locker is not going to be good for you 20 years down the line. You realize that you're wasting your time doing this, right? You shouldn't do it. Yeah, go ahead and take this locker treatment anyway. And then he just sat there and kept telling himself, yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll just tell people that they're wasting their time bullying me. And then eventually they might stop. Maybe it sounds like a defense mechanism to me. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but whatever. It is what it is.
Doing positive, fun things. They could be part of a positive community where everyone hangs out and supports each other, and they actually contribute to the streams, and then I'm able to upgrade my setup and do more stuff and buy more games and do new things.
Why can't your own audience do that? Why do you need an outside entity to do that? You know how weird that sounds? All right.
As opposed to, I sit on someone else's stream who illegally steals his content.
It's not stealing. It's free. It's out there. It's public. And keep in mind, most of the people who do that are refugees from your own fucking shit anyway. You realize that, right? The majority of your hate watchers are former fans or viewers. Not all of them are detractors, trolls, haters, and critics. The majority of them are refugees. But he don't want to have to admit that, because then he has to admit that he fucked up and he's the problem. Even though you could literally find compilations, or you can just go to Pig Go and see all the times where he banned people and told them not to come back. See, that becomes a problem, then done it.
And is actively trying to take away views and money. Guys, listen to me. If there was no illegal restreaming, I would have over 1,000 viewers on my stream right now.
But you wouldn't, because you would ban all of them over time, and then what? You're thinking very short term here, Phil. You gotta wake up, son. Cat didn't gain all that weight in a day.
You know that, right? Every stream, Kick would probably have hundreds. YouTube would have thousands.
Oh boy.
And think, if I had that level of views and support, instead of that level of people who just clowned on me all day, what we could do. We could have reach. We could actually have impact. We could have videos that people cared about and people would listen to. You know, it would be a very...
You're pathetic. Holy shit, this is sad. This is sad. Is this what you're expecting, Phil? Are you trying to drum up some type of sympathy or mercy from me to not make content because of how pathetic you are? Because you've been brought down so goddamn low? Yet you won't take any responsibility for the actions that you made, for the statements that you made that brought you to this point? I didn't go out looking for you. You said dumb shit, and it got around. It is what it was. I'm sure most of the people who were quote-unquote fans of yours, they didn't wake up one day and say, oh no, I don't like Darksydephil anymore. You fucking sowed the seeds that caused that to happen over a period of time that you still can't take responsibility for, because that will require you to admit that you did something wrong. You did a lot wrong, to be honest. It's funny how everybody else needs to grow the fuck up and move on, except for the person who's actually the problem. Make it make sense?
Different thing. And I used to have that power until the internet turned me into a negative meme for a decade. And it
sounds to me like you never had power. That's what it sounds like. You do realize that, right, Phil? You don't. I know you don't. But you didn't really have power if that was the case. Not at all. What you had was the illusion of power. That's fucking hilarious. It's kind of pathetic too, but it's kind of hilarious. Holy shit.
That these people can't bust out of that trap, that prison, that mold that they're stuck in, to realize that if they just looked big picture and understood the human condition, they would realize what a waste they are to this planet. Because
so if I'm a waste to this planet, which means I should be disposed of, how is me giving you money enriching my situation, let alone yours? That's a reasonable question. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. That's so crazy.
none of them sitting there doing that are helping anyone. They could be helping themselves and others, but instead.
So by me helping, whoa. Let's unpack this shit. So it would take me giving Darksydephil money. I want you to take this in. You know what I'm saying? This is crazy. GTG, Golden Triangle Gaming, cute pup in a sharp suit. It takes me giving Darksydephil money to enrich my life and give my life meaning. That's literally what he's saying. If you want to have real value, if you want to feel like you're really doing something with your life, you need to give Darksydephil money. If that's not peak mental illness and or pignosis ramped up to the worst possible number, I don't know what is. I've never heard anybody say that. Holy fuck. Then again, I wouldn't be around or align myself with people like that anyway. But that, I've never heard anybody say that. Especially not with this type of conviction. That's yikes. Yikes.
It's just waste. It's sad. And again, I've been there. I've absolutely positively been there. So anyway, yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, it's funny because you take a look at like a show like Smart Guys, right? Where we are actively trying to do fun segments and fun things.
At the cost of who? Your wife, your own dignity and respect? Not that you had much of either anyway. Are you fucking... Whatever.
With the content that people would want to see, but you notice that there's no support for it.
Keep this motherfucking energy up, Phil, when shit eventually crashes and burns. That's all I'm saying. Because sooner than later, PPP is going to have to cut you off. It's very clear. So make sure you keep the same type of energy when that time comes. I got to tell you. I'll just... A piece of advice. Holy shit.
Because these people are so ingrained and brainwashed to think I have to watch this content on an illegal restreamer and not support Phil, even though supporting Phil would act.
And I hate the fact that he keeps saying supporting Phil and what are using his first name, because it's him trying to humanize himself, right? And you're not a person. So, let's cut that shit. But it is a form of manipulation that like cult members and shit, it's a psychological thing. That people use to try to control others and shit. It's a way of him trying to bring himself down to the lowest possible denominator, which is where the people that he feels are below him are, to try to humanize himself, to make it seem like there's a real connection between the two of them, when there clearly isn't. He clearly doesn't feel that way, nor does he believe that. So it's a really weird ass. That's a great thumbnail, but that's very disturbing looking. Jesus Christ. The fuck is wrong with your face, Phil? What the hell is wrong with your face?
Actually keep the content coming that they want. They don't get that because they've been brainwashed because people manipulate them. People like these restreamers literally are manipulating their audiences on a daily basis to be a cult-like mentality of hate towards me so that their gravy train keeps coming in. You notice they're all monetized. You notice they all accept contributions.
They're not all monetized and whatnot. That's literally not true. And whatnot. That's literally not true. You know what I'm saying? Here's one of the things that he don't point out, but I know that he knows is true. Look at Piece of Peace, for example. Like when he was streaming, when he was active and whatnot, before he became a father. Congratulations, by the way. He'll never see this, but congratulations nonetheless. When Piece of Peace was doing that went to Jasper's Angels. That literally went to a fucking charity and shit. What does DSP have to say about that shit? Tevin's monetized, but he runs what? He runs that's the One Extra Life actually foundation. He helps contribute to that shit, and he does that a couple times a year, a few times a year actually, and he's produced ridiculous amount of money since he started doing that all those years ago and whatever. He don't ever talk about that bullshit. He's not, and these two aren't the only people. But the point being is that if it was just strictly about money, think about all the charitable acts that are done and how DSP never speaks on any of that shit. He knows about it, but he never talks about it. When has DSP donated the Toys for Tots or fucking St. Jude or any of that bullshit? He tells you he does all that shit behind scenes. Prove a receipt. Or produce a receipt, I should say. I mean, Rich did. I mean, after his ass got bum rushed and shit over his nonsense, and he begrudgingly gave up that $1,500, which he still bitches about to this very day, by the way. Shows you how good intentions his charity donations were. But, you know, a lol cow's a lol cow, so what do you expect?
They're not doing it because they feel like this is a true crusade or good thing that they're doing. They're doing it for the money. That's why, you know what I mean? That's it. They're just fucking grifters. They're a bunch of schlubs. And one day the gravy train's gonna end. Whether it's via the law, whether it's via YouTube rules change.
Sounds like wishful thinking, which hasn't happened yet, but he keeps preaching it. And just like how he tried to do that shit with Twitch, until he ain't got bumped off of Twitch. Imagine that. Just like how he tried to do that shit with YouTube, until he got demonetized that first time on YouTube, off of YouTube. Or off of DSP Gaming, I should say. It's funny how he constantly wishing all these bad things to happen, and usually it ends up happening to him. One way or another. Womp womp. Pepperidge Farm remembers, though. Never forget that, Phil. Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Whatever it's going to be, it ain't going to last forever, but they're going to grift until then. So it's really sad that there are thousands of people out there that could be potential positive people.
And what makes the positive people giving you money and spreading the gout? That doesn't seem very positive to me. Whatever. All about perspective.
In this community, but instead they're just sitting there in a cult that literally helps no one but the grifters.
So it does help somebody. Whatever. And the scary part about it is he literally wants to be the head of that cult. He's actively admitting it. And nobody amongst his dents, I should say. None of them caught this. That's wild to me.
Okay, I got a few more tips to shout out, and then I think we got to end and start with Dark Souls for today. I received a 11-pound tip from Mulciber. All right, so Mulciber, thank you. 11 pounds is still, it's roughly around $11. I think it may be like 12. So we'll count it. Let's.
I love this financial shaming he does, by the way. Now, he'll tell you he does this just so he can keep the perspective of how much he's getting and so this way everybody knows where the goal's at or whatever. But it's really not. It's really him financially shaming people. You know what I mean? With something that they can't control. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't control the color of your skin, right? You know what I'm saying? You can probably control some of your cadence, but not all of it. And whatever. Well, you can't, the point being, is you can't control what your currency is worth in your country. That's not a thing. You can move if you want, but you can't control that. But he has no problem with shaming you on that. Something to think about.
Count it 12, okay? I know it's not that big of a currency difference. So thank you, Mulciber. And by the way, that is the top tip of the day, by the way. And that gets us up to 66 and climbing. So Mulciber says, I'm one of those people. I met you through a mirror channel. Very toxic and vicious people there. I can understand that they don't like or they even hate you, but why hate and attack people that support you? They know nothing about those supporters. Some are even young people, and cheers. Those closeted fans out there who can't man up and admit to themselves that they actually enjoy one streamer or the other and must lie even to themselves. You will forever live at the shadow of what other people think of you. Wow. We're getting some insightful stuff. Some insightful stuff on.
Funny how it's insightful when it's to his benefit, but if it's actually constructive criticism, he tries to either explain it away, count it as just as a hate donation, or says he's neutral about it. That's really weird. And I would say that adds a level of complexity to what his actual situation is, but it's not. Like, to be honest. It's just him being just a pathetic idiot for the sake of it. He's just like any other fucking jerk off who can't accept criticism or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Which is hilarious, by the way, because if you've seen screenshots of his Discord, you know he can't take criticism.
Today's stream, man.
Wings is like that too. If you actually go into that that lolcow live fucking Discord, he's a real bitch when he can't get people to agree with him, or if he thinks that people are talking down to him. He can't handle not a lick of criticism. That shit's fucking crazy.
That was well said. Well said. Mulciber, good one. And then we got a $5 tip here. So
couldn't you just proofread that shit before you even say what the amount is? What the fuck, man?
Let's see here. Okay, this is the same person who had made the suggestion about appealing to those hate watching on restreams. Okay, it's a $5 tip. And they said, I get where you're coming from. I thought you might appreciate the insight into other communities that revolve around you and actively watch you. And they have dedicated viewership, and I'd be sad to find out.
Maybe if he watched other content creators and watch how they deal with their haters, if they even have any, maybe that would give him better insight. But he don't want to acknowledge them because he doesn't really look at them as his peers. You know what I'm saying? They're just other people occupying space that he should have. You don't believe me? Go back to when he was bitching and complaining about how vloggers were coming into the gaming sphere of YouTube back in the day. And that'll literally explain everything to you.
If 100% of them are haters, but like you said, probably at least a few percent of people are just hanging around because of you in their communities.
That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And yeah, I'm gonna nitpick the fuck out of it. If 100% of them are haters, but a few of them actually are blank, then that's not 100% though, is it? Jesus Christ. There's a reason why they call you people dense.
Maybe that's because they can be unhinged, but actually appreciate and support even every month. So that's positive. Thank you and have a nice stream. Yeah. Oh, like I said, I legitimately get contacted, all right, by people who say, I used to be a part of that community, and then I took a step back.
You mean like Mortarboard? Is it Mortarboard? Mortarboard? Whatever the fuck that person's name was. You mean like them? Like that random ass person? Like, how is that to even be believed, to be honest with you? Like, DSP would sit there and fucking question them all day, every day if they were against him. But you just take his word and take his little 12 pounds and keep it pushing? All right, then.
Like, it took, a lot of them actually say things like, it took a friend or a family member who found out that I was a part of that community and watched a restream and literally said to me, what on earth are you doing with your life?
Now, friends and family are doing fucking interventions to wane people off Detractor content. Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. That's okay. Sure. That makes a whole lot of sense, bro. Holy fuck.
This is like really messed up, toxic stuff you're participating in, and you've got to fix this because you're going down a really bad path in your life. I've had people outright say it's almost like an intervention, but now they've seen the error of their ways and they're sorry. And some people do eventually become, actual active fans and viewers. And some are like, I've just decided to move on with my life, but I wanted to apologize. And I appreciate that.
X the fucking down that. Now, people moving on out of the DSP Detractor community has been a thing. It always happens. Everybody has their either moment of clarity or they're just ready to, you know what I'm saying? You grow out of shit. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. For a lot of people, it's just not that deep. It is what it is. People are having interventions to wane themselves off of Detractor content. Just coming up with that concept sounds like something an addict would say, to be honest with you. That speaks more to him than anybody else, I think.
Really do. But it's crazy. I mean, no lie. Those communities are like cults. They've become 100% regurgitation. Here's what you...
And actually, funny enough, the cult thing actually stems back to another Detractor. This guy named LSB, Lightside He, it's a shame that this fucking video has been lost to fucking history and shit. But he made a cult video as it pertains to DSP years and years and years ago. It had some really great information in it. And I'm telling you, somebody has it downloaded. Someone has it on a hard drive somewhere and whatever. But anyway, it was a great video about DSP and his tendencies with well-known cult leaders or whatever. And DSP has been butthurt about that ever since. He actually, if I remember correctly, he had a rant about that right around the time that it happened. But like I said, it doesn't really mean much if you don't actually have the video to kind of go along with it. But I'm confident somebody has it somewhere. Like someone has that shit archived somewhere. It just hasn't been discovered yet.
Do, right? Go to one of those restreams and watch whenever a meme appears. I do something that is a negative meme and watch how literally every person on the stream becomes a fucking parrot or a sheep. And they're
So you watch restreamers basically, because there's no way that someone could have conveyed that to you with such detail and clarity. Whatever. I mean, a lolcow will always expose themselves sooner than later, so it is what it is.
they're all repeating it, and it's like they're completely programmed to react in that way. It's fucked. It's legit fucked.
Now, isn't this the same person who has memes and emotes and shit on his streams and whatnot? Wasn't this the same person that was trying to benefit off the same shit when he was off Twitch? Well, when he was on Twitch, I'm sorry. And whatnot with their little hype train or whatever the hell they call that shit over there? I shouldn't say it like that because I'm on Twitch too, but you know what I mean? I'm over there too, so I'm not trying to bash the fucking shit, but you know what I mean, right? So it was okay when he was able to benefit from it, but when he can't, bash the shit out of it. That sounds like a pattern of behavior.
Like, whoa, there's like 1,000 people on this stream and they're all crazy. They've all been.
So then why would you want those 1,000 people over there with you? Why would you want money from those people? He just said not too long ago that if he didn't have restreamers, all those people are over there with him. So you're okay with them all being pedophiles, mentally ill, and all that bullshit when they're under your banner, but they're all just mentally ill and crazy when they're on the other side of that. Think about that for a minute. This guy would literally rather have a fucking 1,000 pedophiles, right? And that are giving him money or stealing mommy's credit cards or whatever that entails, than having 1,000 people that are free thinkers who just actively don't like him. And here's the laundry list of reasons of why they don't. They're bad. They need to be expunged. They're a waste of life and should be literally obliterated off the face of the planet. But we'll deal with these pedophiles though, because they give me money. And then when he's confronted about it, oh, well, that's not done on my stream, so why should that be a problem to me? Even though people on his stream made it a problem and to try to address him with said problem long before Detractors even said anything. Maybe.
Programmed to react to that when it happens. Like, what on earth? Like, what is that?
But remember, when he was doing those hype trains on Twitch, everybody should want to contribute and hype up the hype train. Make it make sense.
That's not normal human reaction and behavior. It's fucked.
And it was human. If you think about it, the vet streak itself shouldn't have been that either. But that was a meme, right? DSP tried to dilute it and downplay it all he wanted, even though he kept promoting it. Makes you think.
Fucked. It's like you've been programmed and sensitized to react that way to that thing, even when the memes don't make sense.
No, the memes don't make sense to you, and it's because it's at your expense or you don't want to acknowledge it. And all you have to do is say, "I don't want to acknowledge it, so that's why I don't give it any life." But he can't do that because he thinks if he can make it. Let me word this. He believes if it makes sense to him, then he can weaponize it. He can own it, if you will, and turn it back on people. And that's not how that works. At least not with everything.
Because there's memes they've made about me that legit are not factually true about anything, but they have repeated them.
And it's really weird hearing a liar say something is not factually true when you're a known liar. That just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me either.
To the point where now it's like we must respond this way when we see or hear this thing. It's like I must respond to the stimuli because I'm programmed that way, even though it doesn't make sense that you're doing it.
That's weird because isn't that the same indoctrination that you sit there and put on your fucking idiot dents over there to get them to donate? We may be breaking ground here, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe. We're not. This is all well established. It's still funny though.
Did you ever see like the stories of people who've actually been programmed, brainwashed, and all of a sudden they'll react to something and they don't know why because they were brainwashed to react to it? That's how these people are, but they don't get it. And they don't understand that the people who
Phil, you're a fucking retard. If you were brainwashed to react to a certain thing, you wouldn't think it's brainwashed. You wouldn't know that you were brainwashed because it's a natural reaction. You not know how fucking foolish you sound saying this. You think everybody who's been brainwashed know they were brainwashed, idiot? And if they did, don't you think they'd want to try to do what they can to get rid of the programming? Stop trying to make points. You're bad at it. You're so bad at it. I mean, all lolcows are, honestly, but you're all bad at it. Stop. Stop doing that shit. Stop trying to interject common sense into a situation that just doesn't make any sense. Stop. Don't do that. You're not good at it. You don't have the practice.
Watch them are profiting on them every single moment. They're getting ad revenue. They're doing super chats. They're throwing the money. It's a cultish mental conditioning.
And he's literally projecting himself, and you don't even see it. He's pig-nosed himself. He literally is suffering from the condition that he's trying to project on other people. He's literally pig-nosed himself. Oh, man, it's so ridiculous. So ridiculous.
They don't get it. Okay.
He literally comes across to me like he's watched the Manchurian Candidate and he didn't understand it. I promise you, he must not have a full grasp of how that movie or the book, but I'm pretty confident he didn't read the book, how that works out. It's literally beyond his understanding. It's almost painfully obvious. It's fucking amazing.
Like I said, I think we're gonna wrap it up now.
Yeah, please do, because you were stupid as fuck and you realize it and you're like, okay, it's time to pull out now. Like I said, it's unfortunate Dave didn't think about doing that all those years ago, but you know, it is what it is.
I have an anonymous dollar tip. That's it. Just an anonymous dollar tip just came in. Whoever
I guess that really speaks to the value of what you're producing, Phil. Good job.
where that was, thank you. No message attached to that one. Remember, if anyone today does want to tip me, maybe you're a newcomer, be sure to include a message and the name you want to be addressed by.
Why? Why do they have to include a message, Phil? Why? You're not happy. Oh, now you don't want to come across as looking greedy anymore. You want to look like you want it to seem like there's something more meaningful or sentimental about the donation outside of the value of the money. Jesus Christ, Phil. You're so transparent, Phil.
In the body of the tip when you send it. I don't see any of that information if you just send me the tip. So for example,
maybe that's the point. Maybe no one wants to get outed and shit. That's why so many of those people over there, just in case you don't know, use fucking burner email accounts to send them money and shit. Because Phil, for years, tried to tell you, oh, if you send me shit through PayPal, I don't get your personal information. X to doubt. Not even X to doubt. Like, it's been proven. Like, other detractors have proven this. I had said it from the get-go to that guy to see your information. For sure. Because I can't remember who I was talking to at the time. But they were like, yeah, I can see your fucking information all day. But I know for sure that Ann Leet and fucking Theo have both said that they can see your information when you send that shit. And then DSP had to go ahead and redo it and redo his explanation, say, oh well, you know what I'm saying, it depends on the information that you put on, that you made your account with, this, that, and the third. You can change all that after the fact, which is true, but why would a normal person feel the need to fucking go all those extra steps just to give you money? Or with an account that they're already using for other shit beyond you? It seems a bit egregious, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? It seems a bit egregious. But to sit there and lie and say that you can't get their information is bullshit. Especially, and the best example, one of the better examples I should say, is Nadia, this is Call of Duty nonsense, when her dumbass was doxing people that were trolling her and shit. She literally said that, yeah, if you give me money through PayPal, I can see your fucking name, I can see your address, I can see your email, I can see all that shit. And she literally doxed the guy. She literally read the dude's information off of PayPal onto her stream and shit to get the guy doxed. Womp womp.
example, that dollar tipper may have wanted to said something but didn't know that. So please do that. All right, guys, thank you. $72 of support. All right, I greatly appreciate that. So we're pretty much halfway to our goal. So we're going to end the show. We're going to swap over, and it's time for Dark Souls today. Please support the Dark Souls portion of this stream. Please, let's hit the goal today. Let's get to 93, and let's keep it moving so we can do this marathon on Friday. All right? I want to do a fun marathon. I want to entertain you with a variety of games. You know, I want to drink and be buzzed for you because you guys find it funny.
Want to be an alcoholic? Gotcha. I mean, you are an alcoholic, so you shouldn't want that. But you shouldn't want to further your alcoholism either. That sounds like a bad thing. That seems weird. It seems weird that an alleged former alcoholic wants to participate in the same thing that caused the alcoholism. That seems strange, but whatever.
When I'm buzzed and I try to play games, particularly this marathon will be better when buzzed because it's a variety of stuff. It's not just me playing Mega Man this time. It's like different stuff, right?
So because your dumbass is forced to play multiple games, that you're using that as a way to justify your drinking. And don't you find it really pathetic that you literally have to beg people for you to drink essentially by yourself? It's not like he's sitting there having a couple shots with his wife or anything. You're drinking legitimately by yourself. You're an alcoholic with a bunch of people watching you engage in your alcoholism. And they're actively paying into that. You don't see that as sick behavior? You don't see that as cult-like behavior? Oh, that's not negative. But people who sit there and make fun of you and shit on other streams with other like-minded people is bad. Make that make sense.
So, please support the stream, all right, if you can. Thank you for a great episode of the Level 1 podcast, all right? I will tough through my gameplay portion of the stream with this neck pain. It is really back and neck pain, but it hurts, man. And I'll see you tomorrow, all right, everyone? Thank you so very much. I hope that you enjoy.
That's funny. We went like 30-plus minutes, but I haven't mentioned any of that shit, but it hurts really bad now, though. Oh, my back hurt. Shit, maybe you need to get a better bra, man, to support all that bust he has up front. Shit.
Enjoyed the show. Tomorrow, we'll talk all about how Smart Guys went. We'll see how we're doing with our goals. We'll look for news and other things to cover, and we'll have a good time. Thank you all. I will see you all tomorrow. Peace out.
I'm mad as hell. That shit is the silliest shit. That shit's so stupid. That shit is literally stupid as fuck. And then it's alleged, I can't prove this, but it's alleged that DSP stole this art and had someone repurpose it from what it originally was. Allegedly. I can't prove that, though. That's just what it was. That's just what's been conveyed to me. I haven't seen the original artwork yet to prove it. But it's kind of hilarious. All this to get back at duty. Wow.
That's right. That's the only L I'll ever take is when I need to do the L to do the zoom in with the camera. Okay. That's bullshit. I've taken many L's in my life.
And you will continue to do so.
Anyway, complete bullshit. Let me see if I can change.
Oh, he's. Oh. Let me bring it back. He's so mad about that. He's so mad as hell about that.
Tomorrow, peace out. That's right. That's the only L I'll ever take is when I need to do the L to do the zoom in with the camera. Okay. That's bullshit. I've taken many L's in my life. Anyway, complete bullshit.
Oh, he sounds hurt. Oh, he sounds hurt. Damn, Phil. That should have been just a throwaway line. Now he sounds legitimately hurt. Oh boy. Okay.
Let me see if I can change the color here to be gold.
It's fucking spinning turning.
So let me get this straight. First of all, I'm tiny again. I got to blow myself up again. So let me get this straight. I pay for YouTube Premium, so I don't have ads. And now YouTube is going to put ads on my YouTube Premium enabled video asking, do I want the family plan? No. And in fact, I feel like that's false advertising and someone should sue the fuck out of YouTube for putting that ad on there.
Why don't you do it? Why does someone else have to do all the heavy lifting? It makes you think.
Because it's supposed to be ad free and you just gave me an ad. So fuck YouTube. Anyway.
That's funny. After he just finished sucking their dick and shit, saying all the value that he gets from YouTube Premium for his work and this, that, and the third. And then we turn around just that quickly. It's the Gouty Viper.
A couple things, guys. A couple things. Number one, Discord is down worldwide. Discord has crashed and no one can use the app at all. If you open it up right now and you try to send...
How is that news? Like, you know what I'm saying? Nothing wrong. I know a lot of people who use Discord and shit like that, but how is that news? That's not that big of a deal. It's like when Twitter goes down. Okay, it is what it is. It'll be back up eventually. Who gives a shit? It's not your only lifeline, Phil. That's pretty pathetic, Phil.
The message, you just get an error. So because of this, I don't know what's going to happen with Smart Guys tonight. If it's still down later today, I don't know what to do because that's how
I don't know what to do. What do you have in withdrawals or some shit? Reach out to fucking PPP on Twitter. What the fuck is wrong with you, man? Send them an email or some shit. Holy crap. Dude's literally having the shakes. Goddamn, you haven't had PPP's breast milk in what? In your designated amount of time? You're starting to freak out? Calm down. God damn, it's not that serious.
We do the show. So we'll have to see what happens over the course of today. Hopefully they do fix it. Because it was funny on break, you know, I just check everything. I was checking everything. I just opened Discord and wouldn't send, nothing would work. I went right to Twitter and everyone on X is, yeah, it's down, can't use it, it's down. So some people are saying it works for them. Oh, maybe it's only certain regions then. I'll tell you right now, it's not working for me and it's not working for tons of people online. Just go search X right now for Discord or Discord down and there's thousands of people posting up about it. So hopefully it's fixed by the end of today. I don't know what's gone wrong with it, okay? It's not me. It's them, and they screwed up the app.
Phil, you said the show's not till the next day. Calm down. He damn near sounds manic. Like, Jesus Christ, Phil, like, get over your bullshit. It's not that serious.
Or whatever. I don't know why or what they did, what they broke. Okay, here. Whoa. Got to zoom in more. Hold on.
Oh, that's special, Phil. that's oh boy, Cat really picked well with this. I gotta tell you, that's very good.
Oh, is that good? That's perfect. Okay, cool. Am I lined up with the board? From Lady Charisma. Since I might not be able to make Smart Guys tonight, I want you to say I wasn't behind Jay till I heard like 90% of the crowd.
Oh, Smart Guys was supposed to be that evening. Even still, there's nothing to panic about. This shit can just get moved the next day. Who gives a shit? Not that serious.
At the Rumble cheer for him in person. That and what happened at Raw is becoming a generational level of fan favorite, and I find it amazing and you guys getting these reactions. Yes, I will completely refrain from responding right now because obviously that's what the point of the show is tonight. But yeah, it's very interesting to say. Oh, did I just turn off the AI? I accidentally just turned off the AI, didn't I? I did. Hold on. Sometimes it misreads my hand. Yeah, sometimes it misreads my hand and thinks that I'm turning it off, but I'm not. Okay, it's back on.
I don't think the pig hook was actually meant to do that shit. Or they've never seen a pig/man hybrid. Maybe that's the problem. It is what it is, Phil. You can't really fix that.
Yeah. Let me just put it this way. It's crazy. It's amazing the reactions he's getting. You know, and I guess the crowds really love him. I'll talk about that on the show tonight, okay? Thank you for that. And then I got a £5 16 pence tip again from Mulciber. Due to your previous comments,
Morciber, sorry. That was Mortar. It was like Mortimer or some bullshit.
Now, top detractors are now in full-on cope sessions. They are patting themselves on the back. It's very cringe. Have you ever had cola nuts? I'd recommend them. If it wasn't because of the caffeine trip so late at night, it's giving me shakes. Oh, I've never heard of it. Cola nuts? Never heard of it. What is it, like a combination of caffeine, like soda with like nuts? No, I never heard of them, though. All right. Yeah, you have to understand something. Any single time that I bring them up, it's a full-on cope session where it's like a seller. Oh, he mentioned us and see, he said this, he said that. They're losers. But again, they're cult leaders. They are literal cult leaders who brainwash their viewership. So I'm not surprised. All right. You know what I need to do? So that's about a $5 tip. So we're at $99 of support and we're about to play Dark Souls. Thank you guys. No, nothing from Kick today. Seriously. Yeah, all day yesterday I got one sub. Today so far I've got none. What is going on Kick? Are you guys revolting in the kingdom of DSP? Is that what it is? Are you guys in full revolt or something? What happened? Why are the rabble rousing? What has caused the rabble to rouse? What is going on over there? Okay, let's get this game booted. Where is it? I'm in pain today, King Michael. I hurt my neck. So I've got shooting pain down my neck and my right shoulder, but I'm going to tough through it and still stream today. But outside of that,
I'm going to tough through it and play video games, Michael. I'm going to tough through it and play video games.
I'm doing good. Cracker Jacks, I don't know what I did. I don't know how I do this. I told you, the one time I actively know I did it, I was just standing in the doorway of a bathroom and I twisted my neck one way and that was it. For 2 months, I was in pain. This morning, I have no clue. I woke up this morning and as soon as I was getting out of bed, I started having pain. I'm like, what happened? So did I sleep on it wrong? Did I twist it in my sleep?
Man.
Did I twist it when I was getting out of bed? I don't know. I hate it. It literally is a sharp, it feels like someone has a knife and they're just like jabbing me in the shoulder. That's what it feels like. It's
Phil, you've never been stabbed. I'm pretty confident you've never been stabbed, so calm down. You know nothing about that, so just ease up, champ. Go ahead and just say shooting pain or whatnot, something along those lines. And a shooting pain doesn't mean you've been shot, Phil. Just don't take it that literally.
fucking sucks. It's so painful. There's no way to really fix it because nerve pain. That's what it is. It's a nerve being pinched in my neck. So I can't fix it. It just has to settle itself. It's so dumb. Okay. Ready? Here we go.
Jesus Christ. Oh boy. Well, that was enlightening. I gotta tell you. That was something. That was something. All right, big ups to Raw Phil yet again for coming through in the clutch. Big ups to Diggs for chopping all that up. Jesus Christ, that was illuminating. I gotta tell you. Okay, let's see here. How do we finish this off? Let's go to Tim Snortons. Let's do that. That's great. There we go. That's what's up. Oh man, fuck it, eh? Oh man. All right, final thoughts, and then let y'all get out of here. Holy shit, the mental fuckery, bro. The nonsense, dude, wanting people to buy in, the alleged cult behavior that's going on, this, that, the third, man. I mean, people who like their content are willing to support it and fight for it, and so on and so forth. That's just something that happens. Can't do anything really about that. But to sit there and accuse your ops of doing such a thing that you yourself, if you could, would want to do is insane. That makes you literally no better than any other detractor, troll, hater, or critic, to be honest with you. And the fact that he even worded it means that he may in some way fantasize about it, and he's clearly watching detractor content. He clearly sees it happen, whether he's there live, which I am still of the debate that he does have a detractor restreamer and on in another tab, or he's watching it after the fact. You're still watching it. You're still watching the content. So it doesn't make it any better, but it's absolutely sick fucking behavior. That shit's fucking ridiculous, bro. So fucking ridiculous. Par for the course. I'm not buying. If detractors, trolls, haters, and critics or detractors want to throw their money at him and shit, go ahead. Do what you got to do. You're not furthering the content doing that, to be honest. It is what it is. Like I said, there's rumors out there that certain people do it. It is what it is. They money, they do what they want with it. But they're not furthering the content. They're not changing anything. They're not moving anything along. The mercury isn't rising because of it. You know what I'm saying? You just somehow convinced yourself that it needed to happen, and it doesn't really change anything in hindsight. But whatever. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening in. I very much appreciate it. And I will catch you guys for the next one of these, whenever that may be, hopefully sooner than later. And this has been the Snort Report, and this has been DSP News. Always late, never breaking. Unreliable coverage that you can't count on. Oh, yes! At GTG Network and Productions. For the Snort Report, SnortBucks Coffee Company, Tim Snortons, Hard Snorts Gin and Tonic. And for all of our friends, subsidiaries, and sponsors and endorsements, if you will. I'm GTG, and I'll catch you guys for the next one. Oh, shit. Take care of yourselves, people. Watch out for that cult-like behavior. Later.